Bob, how about pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attendance, oh, everybody's here. Amend agenda. You have things you want to amend?
Yeah, so we need to add, everything that was in the supplemental, the packet that we posted, after the original one was posted, there's 5 or 6 items on there.
Okay,
And we need to add the, no, I think that was it.
you have those 5 things? I do.
Yeah, there, I can break them down.
And we need to add the calendar for the road commission meetings.
Oh, yes.
Under roads, okay. Okay. You put the 5 under all new business, or they go elsewhere?
Probably.
Okay,
All of a sudden it just started freezing up.
I'll just, you want to give them to me or we'll do it later?
Yeah.
So when we get to them, I can.
Okay.
I got a paper one.
Okay, but that's fine. We'll just list them off as we do it. Okay.
My Wi-Fi at home. but-
How about public comment? Gone. Amend agenda. I guess I bypassed that already. Jim, I'll
I'd
move
like to make a comment.
Oh, sorry, Libby. I didn't realize you were on there. So
I
go
am.
ahead.
I
We have
want,
two-
pardon?
Go ahead, you're up.
I want to give kudos to the invasive species and Cindy for the handling of the RFP for lake management. It was a great addition. I like the policy and the procedure and how you followed it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the owl that has public comment? Just unmute yourself. If not, gone. Jim, I'll move you up to, before unfinished business, so if you don't want to be here for the whole.
I wonder if Doug might want to be moved up.
Doug, you want me moved up too, so you're not here all night? I'll put you after, I'll put you, he's right there on finished business. How about we do it right after Jim? Okay. Minutes for the regular board meeting on January 8th. Does anybody have motion for acceptance, corrections, changes?
The only thing I want to point out is the minutes that we're approving are the ones that were posted online. And the first one I sent and had 2 typos, so I just cleaned up the typos.
Okay, so it's the ones in the supplemental.
Yeah.
Okay,
And they're the ones that were posted on.
okay, very good.
So I would move approval of those minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Matt. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that's carried. The minutes of the special board meeting, January 13th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to be approved as written.
I'll second.
Second by Cindy, motion by Bob. Any discussion? None being heard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Financial report.
So the balance sheet and revenue and expenditure and monthly invoices were all in your packet. I don't know if anybody had any questions on those. We're gonna be talking about the budget a little bit later on, but. Yes, Sandra, there's no.
Questions, anybody? No? Okay, monthly invoices, the revenue, anything, no questions? Okay. I guess we'll go to clerk's report, Bob.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll be a lot better than most.
So everything's up to date, bills are
Yes.
paid, I mean,
Yeah, we're planning for the next election, which that will not have an early vote.
Is it the West Shore College one?
No, yes.
but there's no early voting, it's only day
No
out
early
voting.
voting, it's absentee. Regular vote.
We're good enough for that.
And slowly rearranging things in a mess so the next person takes over
Okay,
sometime between now and the time I die.
do you have a date for that, or do you want me to put that in the minutes somewhere, or?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can't get out of here that easy. Okay,
Have to find a replacement because you die.
he's been working on it. Treasurer's report, Ed.
So my report was in the packet. I just wanted to remind people that, winter taxes are due, February 14th. We'll be open, that's a Friday, we'll be open all day to take them. They're not paid by February 28th. They turn them over delinquent to the county. You show up the day after February 28th, and you try to hand me a payment, I can't accept it. It has to be to the county. And if I get a mailed payment, I have to send it back because the county won't take two-party checks. So just know that. One thing I did want to point out is the township now has the ability to take credit cards for payments. So you can go online and you can pay your tax bills only online with credit card or with a one-time ACH. There is some fees associated with it. But it's a convenient way, if you forgot to send your tax bill in, you can go and do it. At the counter here, we can take credit card payments for basically anything that we would take a cash receipt for. So it's been a little bit of time in coming, but it's a nice system. It integrates directly with our software. And we've already had some people using it even before I published it, because it's the same website that people used to go to look up their taxes, but there was now a payment tab just added. And so I got 3 or 4 payments in before I even put it out on the website. So people are using it, and I think it's gonna be a nice feature for those last minute folks. So I don't have anything else.
The fee is like, what, 3%?
Yeah, it's roughly around there. The fee schedule is published. The ACH, where it comes out of your bank account, is quite a bit less, just a few dollars depending on the size of the transaction. So for tax bills, some people don't mind paying that percentage, but some do, and then they could do an ACH and it would be faster or less expensive for them.
Less expensive,
Because
okay.
the township can't eat those fees.
No, someone asked me, and I told them the credit card company charges,
Right.
I think it's 3%, so, okay. Any questions for the treasurer from anybody? None? Okay. Anyone in the audience? None. Jeffrey, you're up. Welcome.
Howdy.
At our meeting on the 21st of last month, treasurer gave us a quarterly report, nothing unusual there. Had a unique situation with Commissioner Schmidt, speaking at public, had some committee assignment pulled back and, a lot of stuff going on there. Anyway, the road commission, let me see. They appointed Tony Merrill to fill Bob Rochelle's seat that vacated after he passed away. Just a second on Bob, is he did a very good job up there. He was chair for a number of years, and I can tell you if I needed something done, I would contact Bob, and it was generally done pretty fast. We reappointed Greg Carlson, local here, obviously, to the land bank, position he's held for a few years. Dan Harrison with Dial-A-Ride came before us with annual contract renewal, no big deal there. We signed a contract with the MI sale program for LiDAR down to 6-inch. That's a bit of a pay up for that. You could go to 3-inch, but didn't seem that many years ago, we were looking at 3 feet. But anyway, it's come down quite a bit. So the LiDAR is gonna be down to 6-inch.
Is that new aerials then?
Yes.
When are those gonna be?
I don't know the time frame.
Last time we had to pay to upgrade. Are we gonna have to pay to get that higher resolution again?
I want to tell you there's a slight upcharge on it, I guess.
Okay.
So what was the resolution last time? Do you remember?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that.
It wasn't 6 inches.
12 inch, I think.
Probably was 12 and that might have been.
Or maybe it was 6. It was double the rest, or twice as good as what the other.
It keeps getting tighter and tighter.
It's very accurate when we're measuring buildings and can't get into a building, it's locked up, or the property's blocked off. We get on the aerial and measure it, and, it's right on.
Land Bank, gave us the annual report, going well there. I mean, they've pulled in since its, conception, a little over $3 million. So a lot of demoing. ongoing. One other point of note on that is the Rachel Nelson, the treasurer, is the chair or the president, if you will, for the state land bank now. So that's, nobody is, I've been told, nobody north of Grand Rapids or north of Detroit has received more funding than what we have here in Manistee County, which is pretty unique. And her being chair,
Can't hurt,
doesn't hurt either. Uh, Made some contacts, there's been some changeover in the last year with the Forest Service, and I'm looking to try to build a better rapport with them. And, it's the namesake Manistee Huron National Forest, we've got the Forest Festival, we've got Chittenden, we get, personnel gets changed, and we've never really had that tighter rapport, and I made some contacts with Cadillac, trying to get that, to improve, so if something happens with the forest, whether it's a fire or what have you, actually, you know who you're talking to, and it just, we need to get better communication what we've had. Side note, Starbucks is gonna be going in at the corner of 55 and 31, where across from the Microtel.
They're moving them sheds out of there
They
today.
are, yep. So that's going on there. I did see a Swiderski excavator sitting down there at Lakeside Social. So I said, I presume that things are starting to move there at the old Little Caesars property on Manistee Lake.
What's going on there, Jeffrey?
It's called Lakeside Social. It's a restaurant slash bar. Venue. It's been discussed for, probably getting close to 3 years.
They have a liquor license on?
Yes,
Okay.
she does. And really, I think that's probably about all I've got at the moment. United Airlines, I was told, is fully integrated with Contour now. But I have not personally gone online to see about ticketing, anything along those lines. We have had some hiccups with Contour, obviously, and again, just to emphasize, if there's a hiccup there and you get a delay, and I would not book tight schedules at the moment. Trying to get some things ironed out for them to get better at what they're doing. They are aware of it, issues that they've had, sometimes it's de-icing. We are gonna be making changes at the airport. Barry Lind is gonna be retiring this year, and we are contemplating exactly what way we're going to try going, whether we have a contract for a fixed base operation, or they become county employees, or authority employees, I should say. It wouldn't be county employees. And then, definitely gonna need a new manager as well, so there's lots on the plate at the airport, but that's a valuable asset. And it's something that, we need to appreciate what we have, because that's rather unique. There's like 500 airports in this country that have scheduled service, and we have one of them here. So it's a great tool for economic development. Yes.
Is there any federal funding coming in now at the airport for the airport authority? Is there to keep maintenance and stuff like that?
Well, we get federal funding, but I will tell you that the formula is in a process. It's been changed. I don't know if we're 12 months or so in a lag before we receive the additional funding, but at the moment we should go from around. I should be able to tell you the number, and I can't. I want to tell you if it's 200,000 maybe, go to over 700,000. And the big differences are employment are way up, number one, but the formula has changed. It's going to allow us to accept a lot more dollars. Had a lot of clarity. I had a couple of meetings in the last week in regard to the airport and trying to figure out the path forward. There's a couple things we need to do to help the fixed base operation, and we can generate a lot more revenue than what we currently have been. But it's gonna cost the county some more money, I'm sure.
Do you know, so like the de-icing thing, is that owned by the airline or is that owned by the airport?
Owned by the airline.
It is, okay. So they need another machine?
Well, I don't know what the status on the one currently is, but I think they're keeping it out of the weather, which is important.
Oh,
I think.
It was very slow when my daughter flew out, earlier this year. It took them and it was like this. So it was coming down. It took them like 45 minutes to ice that plane.
Not a job you want them to rush.
No, actually,
Efficient operation for my estimation. What do I know? I think I could have had a squeegee and sprayed the wings off.
Jeff, is anybody else?
Squeegee guy.
Yeah.
My
Mike?
understanding is that there are some issues out there, because right where they come in, where the boarding is and everything, that piece of land right in there needs to be changed so they can have bigger planes turning, to turn around at that end, at the south end, or at the west end of the air. And that they were talking, and that there is land available down there, and they talked about plans of expanding there.
I have not heard anything in regard to that.
It's an issue in terms of size of the plane.
Yeah. Well, that was it, 757 in there this year, one day in the
Oh, yeah,
summertime, and
they've got the ILS.
that's a little bit large.
The ILS, but they don't
Current
have a place
pavement.
to park it when it gets there.
There was a 757 in there? Well, private? Oh,
They were up, somebody
Dolphins?
from down Detroit, came up for the Iron Man, is my understanding.
they should have walked. If they're in the Iron Man. Mike, what the hell?
Parachute in.
Whatever, okay. Anybody else for Jeff?
Remember Frostbite Chili Cook-Off? Reigning champ,
When is that?
Elks, 1 to 3 this Saturday.
You're gonna be here?
I'm gonna be there. You're defending. I'm defending my title.
Okay,
It's team county,
and where is it at?
the Elks.
Okay,
Anyways, all right, thank you.
thanks. You don't wanna wait for this interlocal agreement thing?
You got any questions?
We're right there. I'll just jump ahead. Does anybody on the board have any questions about the recycling thing that they sent back and they turned down the other one? Well, this is
That
back
was
to,
obvious.
not really, but
But I just want to be clear, we're back to the original one they sent without any added language from the township.
correct. So does anybody have any questions for him? None?
None. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
See you later. DNR boat launch paving parking lot and agreement and MCCF grant. That's enough stuff at once, right?
Why didn't I-
How'd you get way down there?
Where are you?
Oh, point town. I jumped right to all that other stuff.
You're not.
I was trying to bypass it all.
Getting right back up
I
there.
was thinking we'd be out of here by 6 o'clock.
The next thing.
Oh, I'm badgering Tim. Okay, the appointment for township clerk.
Yes.
There you go. So
You just overlooked that, right?
Sorry.
we are right there,
I'm
so.
looking at the recycling.
I jumped down there because yeah, that's all.
Way to go.
I'm almost as bad as you. I only just
You
went
weren't gonna
down
get
one.
away with it.
I went all the way down too. Then jumped to the next one. So we've had our interviews. Everyone has had ample time, I think, to mull over and go over everyone's qualifications. So unless there's discussion about something, I guess what I'm gonna ask for is a motion from somebody or anybody, or if anybody has a motion.
I will make a motion that we appoint Jennifer Smeltzer as the township clerk effective March.
What did she say? I don't remember.
Second week, one.
Third.
No, I was gonna make it effective March 3rd, which is Monday, coincides with either a full or half of a pay period.
You know, I'm gonna second that.
Okay, so then my discussion will be, if in fact, she said because David's having his knee done, she's gonna be tending to him around the house, so. If she was able to, Things-
with the knee.
hobble around with the knee, but to do her online,
Oh, yeah.
cause she's gonna have a whole bunch of time on her hands. I wonder if it would make sense that if she's available.
Can't ask her to go online if she's not getting paid. Unless she wants to volunteer, and that's not a thing.
I don't think that's appropriate. And
No, I wouldn't ask her that.
Just leave it the way it is.
That's the way you want
Okay,
it? Okay,
at least that's for them.
for you, I see what you mean. So,
I heard March 3rd. I did not hear what year.
2025.
I missed it. Thank you.
2025, so let's just go with that. Is there any other discussion? No, none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It's carried.
Yeah. Now
See, now you're moving to Giddy, aren't
You
you?
can go anywhere you want now, we've done it.
Now you don't care?
Right, you just,
You're here till the second.
yeah. Don't wish my life away, huh?
Okay, recycling intergovernmental agreement. So we're back to the original agreement, which takes out all the wording where we added that other thing, which is the same as every other agreement that they've signed with the other entities in the county.
So the only question I have of you, did you have any conversation about it? Or was it just, or any?
Was
information?
it turned down and sent back? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm saying is, it was in my packet, so I knew that it was turned, but I didn't know if there was any discussion,
Yeah, like I
memo.
Rationales of what's going.
Do you want us to take the recycle trailers out of there or, I mean, no, there's no, it's this way or the highway. Kind of. I mean,
Okay, so let me ask another question, just to remember something. I remember at one point in time, I think it was when I just was attending meetings. Maybe it was after I was appointed. I don't remember. We talked about the other land that the township has. We talked about the fact that it wouldn't be as convenient. But the question is that a viable solution if push came to shove?
way out there.
I'm not talking
In my
about
eyes, no.
location.
My opinion would be no, but that's just my opinion.
Because why?
It's 3 miles out of town on Erdman Road, out in the middle of nowhere.
So it's only a locational issue. Oh, so we have a fallback. I think, one, I'm not real happy with how things transpired. I'm especially not happy with Mr. Don's. And the part that I feel he was involved in here, but anyway, since we do have a fallback position, I feel we should move forward with approving the agreement, knowing we have that in the fallback position. But would want to get clarification and or have some type of negotiation if needed to keep it where it's at. That's where I'm at.
Is the fairground?
I don't have an appetite to litigate this. I mean, I.
Yeah, what's that?
Is the fairgrounds an absolute no-go for sure?
Yeah, it's too busy.
Oh, my God.
Well, it is. You've been by there. You see how many people are over there? During fair,
Matt, I think that was sarcasm.
I must be going by too
during
fast.
fair week especially. I mean, there's at least a couple dozen people over there.
As Sheldon would say, was that sarcasm?
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked it at the fair.
I have a different opinion of, well, the fairgrounds should be utilized by everyone in the, I mean, whatever. Don't get me going.
I'll second.
Did someone make a motion that we're gonna sign this recycling program interlocal agreement? Did you make that motion? Thank you, Cindy. And you was seconded, Bob?
Certainly.
Oh, the time for discussion.
Yes.
So I am in favor of recycling generally. I think there's gonna be many more changes coming down the pipe in short order. So I don't think this is the last time we're gonna be revisiting this subject. But I am not in favor of the agreement the way it is written. I don't think it gives us any protection for the $7,500 investment we made over at that other property. So I'll be voting no on this because of the way it is, but that's not, because I don't like recycling.
Okay.
Understand.
Any other discussion? You think we should do a roll call vote? No, a simple vote is fine.
I would be where you're at, Ed, other than I just don't want to see this on the agenda. I don't like, I don't want to litigate, and it's like, just try to go about it a different way and see if we can.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No,
Okay, I declare that motion passed.
Oh, we didn't have to move Doug, because Doug's right there. Lake
Yeah,
manager recommendation.
But it
That's what
sounded,
you were trying to say to me.
it sounded good. Well,
Yeah.
As long as you're right,
It's awfully complicated for stupid recycling.
as long as you're right there with that.
Well, I look at that, just that.
Which is that?
This is-
When
this is-
Yeah.
That's later though. You can hand it, but okay. Lake manager recommendation.
As you know, we had spent several months developing an RFP and you approved it. We put it out for bid. He was kind enough to send out the RFP to some selected companies. I also reached out to other companies. We had it posted on our website. We ended up with 2 applicants and PLM was not one of them, our previous contract. We had 2 applicants. The committee interviewed, lots of questions. We hit them hard with the questions. We had unanimous recommendation from our committee that Kaiser and what's the,
Kaiser is the other company,
no, the
Kaiser and Associates.
Associates, thank you.
Yep.
Kaiser and Associates.
We kept calling them K and A.
K&A, yeah, okay, yeah. That's why I couldn't remember the name.
Yep.
So, we had a unanimous recommendation from our committee that we hired Kaiser. There are several reasons why, their survey methods, you can get, the next day, you can find out what the survey was instead of waiting for months, like we previously did. And had to wait till the end of the year, frankly, to find out the kind of plants we had. Well, there was verbal communication we had, but we didn't have the data that would actually share what plants we have and where they are and what kind of abundance or that kind of thing. So we're pretty excited by that. We also, and I think, Alexis from the tribe has plans on putting that data together better for us too. Maybe she has some interesting ideas and that would help with us with our recommendations as the year goes along. If we know what we have and immediately, and then we can make some, we can review that data and make some recommendations. We have a very talented team that makes these decisions. So, very excited by this. And so we have to have this, we'd like to, we don't have to, but we'd like to have this recommendation from you as soon as possible, because there is an April 1st deadline where we have to select a treatment contractor. So this is just the lake manager part of it. That lake manager is going to help us select a treatment contractor. And we have to have the permit into Eagle prior to April 1st. So we're going to be working pretty hard with this group. Invite them to our next meeting, which is next Monday.
Do we have a contract from them?
That's what I was just gonna kind of dovetail into it. So
We've been working.
right before, we had our invasive species committee meeting, it occurred to me our time frame. So I asked both companies, not knowing who we were gonna pick, to send me proposed contracts. Progressive actually had kind of included it right in their proposal. K&A hadn't, and so he sent me 2 proposed contracts from other areas that they have, because they were both done a little bit differently. So I contacted, and I forward those to the committee, so I contacted Doug over the weekend and said, listen, the only way I see this playing out is, assuming the board approves it today, approving the contract with, as soon as we receive an acceptable contract with Kaiser, to forward that to the attorney for review. Just because of the timing aspect. And I just felt that if we had them start the contract rather than us initiate it, it would probably give Tom quicker turnaround time than if he, or the whole process, than if he just drew something up.
You don't have anything from them, yeah?
It's
No,
some
our meeting's
reluctance
Monday.
from him, Mark, from Kaiser, has sensed some reluctance to get you something prior to actually being selected. I don't know why, giving us a contract, before you approved it.
Okay, well, it's goofy, but
Well, we
that's.
can select them contingent on an executed contract.
Yeah, I don't
Whatever you
get,
want
I
us
don't
to
get
do.
that, but,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so you're recommending, well, okay, do we have a fee? I mean, we're gonna, Do we have a
They-
figure?
It's in your packet.
Yeah, and they were less expensive.
They were $3,000 less. I want to say it's 33,642.
640.
33,892.
Okay, I was close.
Which is more than PLM, but PLM said if they did, apply, it would be much more expensive.
And just, I've been asked by some other people to make sure everyone understands, PLM chose not
Correct.
to bid this, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
I reached out to Bree prior to the end of the contract and I said, we haven't seen your RFP, we haven't sent anything back from our RFP. And she said she had many different reasons. And one of the loudest ones I heard was her workload already. So,
okay.
Now, interestingly, they may end up being.
But they may be the treatment, they're not,
Because
they're not denied from bidding that, right?
correct, they are
Okay,
interested and Bree said that and checked with the treatment person and
okay,
they're interested in continuing that.
okay. So you're recommending again, the company's name is
Kaiser and Associates?
Kaiser Associates.
So I have a question about timing. We have a public hearing and a budget work session scheduled for the 26th February. So we could make that a special meeting if we had a contract ready and act on it, if that would help the process.
I will bet we will, because we've got a meeting Monday and we've just not formally contacted Kaiser because you want to wait till it's approved. And so the plan was that we would say, hey, we need to have that for our meeting Monday so that we can.
And when
But our attorney needs to know that. it has to
Sure.
be-
No, I understand, but we've got to have something to hand to her. That's what I'm saying.
And when we spoke, he said that, either one of them said they shouldn't, these treatment folks are very used to doing this at the last minute. They already have these kind of permits already done, and so didn't seem like there was any issue, but we still need to.
But so we'll have a contract with the manager, but will they subcontract with the treatment or will we contract with the treatment directly?
You'll have to contract with.
So they're gonna solicit bids for us to select that also?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and our group will review. Go ahead, Cindy.
Yeah, probably the way that I would see the process working is similar to
Yeah,
this.
same thing.
That, they're going to send out an RFP, they'll get who knows how many coming back, they'll make their recommendation to the committee.
You guys
Committee will
will,
evaluate it, and that's what we'll recommend to the board.
okay. Are you making a motion then to?
Yeah.
Okay, and your motion is?
Well, is it just, well, you have me confused now
To
because
go,
of the special
probably-
meeting, do we want to just? Oh, I
They
guess
wanna
we
be
could approve
selected.
it
We wanna
subject to the
select them.
contract. Okay,
We have a dollar amount.
so
You can just approve a recommendation from them,
subject to
3-year
receiving an acceptable
3-year
contract.
free of contract. You approve their recommendation and that's it.
Subject to
Then
review of the
we go-
contract.
Then you move on through the
I
contract.
have a figure anyways, okay. Don't know what the correct way to word that is.
I would move
Subject
that-
to approval or okay by our,
I
I know it's her.
I would move that we enter into a 3-year contract with Kaiser and Associates LLC. Wait a minute, wait a minute, that isn't what I want to say. No. Yeah, I would
So
move
if we don't
that,
have a contract.
no, but we would make it subject to attorney review. Okay, Ed, why don't you word it the way you would feel most comfortable?
It's up to you. They said they want to know, but we can't necessarily approve them because if we're gonna agree on a contract, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. So how about we approve the
Move forward with the
recommendation
recommendation of
of
Kaiser.
moving forward with Kaiser and Associates, subject to,
Township attorney approval of the contract.
ultimate approval of a contract.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a second
Second.
discussion by anybody?
Thank you for all the hard work on this.
It's a lot.
Thank you for allowing. us
I
to
gotta do
this.
roll call because we're spending so much, or do I add? I'm gonna go roll call. Bob?
You're not spending. it,
Yes.
Well, we're talking about money, I guess. Ed,
Yes.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Matt? Yes. David, yes, okay.
It's coming out of the SAD.
Okay, while you're here, so we got trespass and discussion Eagles, so back to Mr. It's Hanover?
Hanford.
Hanford, thank you. Hanford's property on Porch Point Drive, so we've received another letter, Bob, the second notice from
Yeah.
Eagle? Okay, that's already on the website, right?
It was in the packet. I haven't put it on the website.
Okay, we'll
yet.
put it on the website.
A second notice.
It is
Just curious, how many of those do they get notices?
Steve Hanford,
I think this, I don't actually know. No idea.
second violation notice.
Yes. So they're gonna make him restore it back. I need to know, cause he wants us, the only a conversation I've had with that man is in person and told him to get off our property when we figured out he was on our property. Which he did. But I have to go back out there, and I think Vic and I were out there with his Onyx trying to figure out kind of where the line was exactly. And I think he cut a couple trees, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2. Probably that big. And moved some dirt around and did all that, and then he pushed the dirt back, cause I said level it off. So that's all he's done. I can't do anything now till the snow melts, but is it Logan? Okay. Would like to have something from us. Such as, you know. That we put him on notice that we're gonna do something about it. It's something that Tom would have to write. I think that should be written from the attorney to Mr. Hanover.
I don't think it's worth that.
You don't think it? Well,
I disagree, only because we're getting more and more people that are blatantly violating the provisions of our zoning ordinance, of state statutes. They go and they beg for forgiveness later. And I know it's expensive to enforce this stuff, but if we don't enforce our zoning ordinance, then we might as well not have one. And I think this individual, it's blatant, it's
Yeah.
very visible. I've got
I would-
complaints on it.
I would say this is at the top or upper echelon of blatant.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I think what Logan wants is he wants more ammunition for when he goes after this guy. And I don't know if the county is doing anything for their people.
they are, they talked to him.
But I think we ought to too. I don't care if it's 2 trees, 2 nice oak trees this big around are worth a couple $1,000s probably.
What about in the road commission too? Cause they took road.
They've already talked to him, cause if you, there's platted paper roads there, the guys doesn't own all that property. So what he did was he hired a logger to go in and cut all the logs that were saleable on all the roads in that property. They weren't his roads. Technically, the road commission, because it's a platted subdivision, the road commission owns the trees.
Can I make a public comment on that, or should I say that?
Well, just let's get done discussion. I'd be glad to let you do it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think we should spend the money and do it, because if we don't, he has done this before downstate, and I told him to cease and desist, and you can see what happened since that point in time on the rest of it, right?
There was no ceasing or desisting.
Well, in his failure to comply. In consideration of requirements, the Eagle.
That's what I'm asking. How many of these like warning letters do you get? Is
I
it
don't think
five,
it's past
seven?
them. No, it's past the
Denied
warning.
permit would have been approved for this, but therefore by July 15, 25, you must bring this property in compliance with requirements, restoring the wetlands or original conditions for the violation. To comply with this requirement, you must complete the following and submit written restoration plan. Approval of the address following restoration by June of 25.
It's past the point. They're not notifying him no more. This is it. This is you do it. I think there's enough people involved, but I still think we should, my opinion is that.
Would it be to our advantage too, as the township board to, you know, a letter of support through our attorney?
I want you
Backing
to,
that up.
I'd like you to let me go to the attorney to draft a letter to tell this guy he needs to restore our property, and along the same lines as what the road commit, or not the road commission, what Eagle has told him, is my opinion. That's my
Is that a
opinion.
separate issue? Is that a separate issue to reply?
Well, because that's Eagle talking about them. That's Eagle talking to him about his property. This is on our property. Eagle's not telling him anything to do with
I
our.
think we need to put him on notice that he trespassed, he cut township property trees, he needs to restore the property and reimburse us for the trees, however, the attorney needs to work that.
Well, that.
Would you support that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy?
I would support that. The only thing I'm wondering is there even more that we need to include in that letter?
Yeah, and I don't know,
That's my point.
I'll ask Tom. I don't know.
well, or Logan, see what Logan.
Or Logan. Logan just wants something for ammunition from our, he wants something when he goes to court. It's just not him. And
Cause it appears that this guy, it doesn't take a warning letter serious. It seems to be.
go ahead.
I mean, they had, according
according to that letter and some other information, they had
Yeah.
DNR is the law enforcement, so they had a deputy.
Oh, no, they had a criminal agent there.
According to that, he said, I'm just gonna keep doing what
Doing
I'm
what I'm
doing.
gonna
I don't know what
do.
that means, but.
That means he's in a world of hurt.
I think it means he's in a world of hurt too, so that, and we've never been that far around here with anyone else about that they had a criminal, part of the criminal team there, you know? So, okay, I'm gonna call Tom tomorrow and have him, I'll give him both,
Just consensus or need a motion?
consensus is fine with me,
Yeah.
okay. Did you have something else to
Well,
add? Dan?
I'll just add a little information that you can, give to Tom Greer, just to show it. I mean, this was the aerial that Eagle put together. This was from May. Okay, and so there's more than, I understand, like more than 2 acres of damage, which actually I understand crosses a threshold, the EPA might get involved, so good luck with the feds. But the other thing I want to point out on this, you've talked about the paper roads, okay? My understanding of the ownership of those paper roads, it's a little bit complicated. But the township actually owns the trees to the center line of any of these paper roads. The township has, and Tom Greer can confirm that, we have a reversionary interest. So the number of trees that have been destroyed,
There's nothing.
I think is far beyond 2. So that's really the
We should
gist of it.
verify the county township thing and figure that out.
Yeah, I think, and where do you get,
But I'll get-
I'm not gonna even,
Well, I'll just get
where,
you
no,
this.
no, 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 where did you get that information from?
Which
Do you think,
information?
because that's never been said before, the township owns the trees within those platted subdivisions,
It's road law.
in the subdivision.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of the ownership. You know, if the county road commission is actually claiming those roads, let's just say that they are. They have a right to say, if there were gravel, they could use that gravel and spread it around to improve that road. But they don't own the gravel to the extent they could excavate it and use it to improve something else. That's the property owners. The road commission has a right to remove trees in order to, improve the road. They don't have a right to cut them down and sell them to a lumber mill. They actually could use them if they wanted to build a bridge out of them, they could, but otherwise, those trees belong to the abutting property owners. There's a thing called the reversionary interest.
No, I've heard that before. I've just heard this totally different. So we'll have to figure that out. I mean, on a regular platted property, when you have a road right of way, you own the tree, but it's in the right of way. It's actually the property owner's tree,
Mhm.
right? On the subdivision, it's always been told us to me for 40 years, that subdivisions are plats. The roads belong to everyone in the plat, but the road commission has control over
The ownership, the fee of it does transfer to the road commission if they've accepted it.
Which
But
they have.
it's really, their ownership isn't much more than an easement. It's just barely more than an easement.
Which they have or haven't on those.
They have. They have.
Well, if they were accepted on, as a whole thing, McNitt Act.
They're accepted under the Magnet Act and all
Okay.
that, but his opinion is they own the trees.
Whose opinions?
Brad's at the road commission, that the
Yeah.
trees are, that they have to
That
pay
I
them for the
disagree with
trees.
them.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
But yeah,
I'm not gonna argue with him because I didn't cut the trees down.
but I'll just leave.
Yeah, leave that. That'd be great. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. No, that's cool. Yeah, I think we'll do that. If it's okay, then I'll get Tom on that and we'll just send him a letter and then Vic and I can go back out once the snow goes down and actually figure, unless they pull the stumps out, which they may have done that.
Some of them are, I watched them pull some stumps out,
They pulled quite a few of the stumps out.
and they had a giant fire down there burning them.
East Forest Point Road, just beyond Little Eden.
Just beyond Little Eden. You ever been
It was
out
the
there?
place where they were in their clearing and clearing the little, okay, I see.
Like bulldozer.
The bulldozer's still there, right?
Yes.
Backhoe's gone.
Basically all the way.
Yeah.
Well, 90%.
It's like this, one more kind of public comment.
Sure.
I mean, I wish, our soil erosion and sedimentation control would make it happen, making the wetland map here. Just, rather than relying on what somebody's saying, just take a look at it, because if you do that for this property, it shows it's all wet. Now, that's not quite accurate according to Eagle, there's a little upland
It was like 10%.
by the road, but. It would have taken 5 minutes to look at that.
Well, he didn't ask, so he never asked Eagles for a wetland determination. They told him to, but he never did.
Right, but the.
He made his own
permit
determination.
Comes from.
Soil erosion, I called them and they got right on it. They actually fined him,
But they
but
issued a.
issued a permit, after the fact permit. And it's not perfect, that's for sure.
Dave,
Yes, Libby.
it looks like he's put in some sort of power out there.
Well,
I'm-
that's for the condos he's gonna build.
Okay,
There is
well,
a temporary power pole now.
so does he need a land use or can he go and just put a power pole or whatever it is? I am totally out of
Address.
construction.
I think, and I'm not positive, Dave is shaking his head one way and I'm gonna say something different. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You have to have an address to get a power pole.
That's true.
And if you get an address, they will give you a power pole.
Okay.
And so that's all I know about that.
But
But
won't
they should have
assign
not given him
address
one.
to that Because it doesn't have, there's not a land use permit, there's nothing that would trigger the ability to have an address there. So something's.
So something's amiss, and I think David's right, and I think I'm right. I don't think, if there is a pole.
There is a temporary power pole with a box on it.
Really?
Yeah.
But there's no
Yes,
power
yes.
run to it.
No, there's no power.
Oh, okay, well, you can do that, because you can just do it. But
Okay,
whether they
I
ever run
didn't-
power to it.
I didn't know, as I said,
No, there's
I
no
saw
cord
the
to it.
box. I
Yeah.
saw the box. I don't know anything. I was just curious because I do know the land. He was denied this land use permit on the, whatever it was, of January of
I'll call the county
2025.
tomorrow. I'll call the county tomorrow and ask about the ad, because they shouldn't issue an address for that. They just shouldn't,
I'm curious if they did or not.
you know. Anything? Thank you, Libby.
Yep.
Okay, Ed, so we're going on to introduce
Yeah.
2025-26 budget
We had
and
a little bit of, downtime on our cloud software the last week. They're having some issues affecting the Microsoft, server farm. So I didn't get this quite as thoroughly done as I wanted. There'll be some tweaking, but I just wanted to run through it because it's on our budget calendar to kind of introduce the budget to the town, you know, for the township and the public and everything. So I did a memo that talks about it. I compiled the requests from the Parks Department and the Fire Department and things that we've talked about. But obviously it's just very much still a draft. So on the sheets that you have here, there's, activity for 1, 2, 3 full fiscal years and the current fiscal year. Current fiscal year approved budget, a projection of where that's gonna be, and then the 25-26 requested. And then there's 2 more columns, which is the amount change from the prior budget, not the prior projected, the prior budget, and the amount, percentage change from the previous budget. And we've got it for the general fund and for the road fund and for the fire fund and for the lake improvement fund. So a couple of highlights, and we have it in the memo here. We've got a work session and a public hearing scheduled for February 26th at 5 p.m. And I'm gonna put this out on the website, probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight, so it's there. People can look at it. Remember, there's this draft and it's subject to change and revisions, and I'm sure I made some mistakes when we did it because of the timing, so. But it's fairly close. On the general fund, we've got estimated revenue at about 620,000. We're expecting property tax increases of around 3%. There's a couple factors there. The assessment roll isn't complete yet, but one is, we've got the 3.1 inflation rate from the state of Michigan. We've got sales, we've got new construction, and then we don't know what that's also gonna do with the Headley rollback. So that's just kind of an estimate. I think it's a safe estimate, but we'll see when that's all put together. The other revenue items in the general fund are stable except for interest income, which is likely to go down as the Fed continues to cut interest rates if they do. We've already gone down about a percentage point from the peak. On the expenditure side, we have expenses at about 793,000, which will eat into our fund balance a little bit, but some of the budget items there are kind of more hypothetical or placeholders, so it doesn't mean we're necessarily going to do that, as well as the fact that we have ample fund balance to fund some of this stuff. The budget assumes that employees and board and commission members that get paid and then elected officials are recommended to get basically between a 3% and 4% raise, and that's in line with the state of Michigan inflation rate and CPI. But again, it's subject to board discussion and approval. Notable items in the general fund are, we left money in to acquire a recycling site, if an opportunity arises. I did budget more hours for the deputy clerk, for a couple of reasons. One, she's been working more hours, than the previous deputy clerk, and two, with a newly appointed clerk, I think she's gonna need to be there a little more often. There's a reduction in election wages due to the number and type of elections, and also kind of looking at the historical numbers. I think we've kind of over budgeted, in the past, primarily because of the uncertainty with the new election laws and how that was gonna shake out, and I think there'll be more changes coming, so, but I think there's ample there if we just kind of made it a little bit more realistic. Money to repaint the township hall is needed. Once we get it resided, there's probably gonna have to be a couple of areas that need painting to kind of touch it up. Increased attorney fees for increased zoning and ordinance violations, which we seem to be having more, so that was bumped up 5,000. There's some capital outlay in the Parks Department for, additional rigid walkway at Langland Park, some gravel for Fellback Park parking where we get those big holes there of water, possibly an ADA base for a table, North Point irrigation extension, sunshade at North Point Park, and then a grant match reserve of about 30,000 for any, for grants that might arise, we could have the match. On the road fund, revenue is expected to be about 233,000. That's primarily from the millage. Again, about a 3% increase. Expenses are estimated about 415,000. As you were here, if you were at the December meeting, you heard the road commission manager talking about their plan to improve roads at a more dramatic pace. So what they're going to be doing is wedging and improving really bad areas of asphalt and all the township roads, improving the crown shape to kind of get it ready for then a chip seal treatment on the roads. And that amount is going to be about 414,000. That's a total expense. The chip seal portion, I think, is around 380,000. So we've got money in there to do that, and that will preserve our roads for 5 to 7 years. Seals the water. It could be even a little bit longer, but the fact that the road commission is undertaking that initiative to wedge them and do the shoulders and stuff is huge, because they've never done that before to the extent they're doing it now.
And he told me this morning, he'll have it's all going out for bids, so we didn't have to actually vote on it today, but by next month,
Okay.
once he figures out, he gets the bids back, and he'll have the bids for the paving for the
Okay.
short pieces by Portage Point.
So I think that'll be, and I don't know that I have those included in here, so I
No.
might have to add that. So I think that's really positive for the township roads, and the reason we're able to do this and do it all in 1 year is because of that road millage. A lot of the townships don't have it, and so we can capitalize on those matching funds with the road commission where some townships can't. So we're really getting a huge benefit from that millage, for the condition of our roads. On the fire fund, received the budget from the fire chief. Revenue is estimated at 537,000. However, that's got a $300,000 placeholder in there for the sale of the pumper truck. And Rob didn't know what that would actually look like. He didn't get that from anybody. It was kind of his estimate. So we need to be cognizant of that when we're looking at this budget, because it may not be that much. It could be $100,000. He's gonna have to get that narrowed up a little bit more. We didn't budget any grant revenue, but there is an expectation that they probably will file one or more local revenue sharing grants. But on the flip side, I didn't budget any expenses for those grants as well, because he hadn't identified them. Total expense is about 440,000. The operating items are fairly normal. The noteworthy items in the budget are capital outlays. One is for the previously purchased pumper truck. But there's also a new capital outlay request for a Polaris Ranger crew cab at 34,500 and 6 ice/water boat rescue suits for 11,000. So I'm sure Rob will be able to explain that a little bit more at the work session. And finally, the Lake Improvement Fund, estimated costs this year are higher because of the new lake manager and likely higher treatment costs, and the revenue is about the same. They're both right around 75,000. However, I think we need to check with MTA and our attorney and possibly the statute and see, we may be getting to a point where we have too much money in that fund. And we might have to ratchet back the amount of the special assessment, or maybe not even have it for a year, depending on how that statute's interpreted. Because we're not supposed to accumulate more.
What's in there right now?
It's close to 100,000. The problem is, we don't have this isn't a normal special assessment where you have fixed costs every year, like a bond that you're trying to pay off. Our costs are variable. And so I don't wanna go
No.
down the road of not having the revenue and then have something explode on the lake and have a $150,000 bill. So we've just gotta understand what our legal obligations are there, and between now and the public hearing, we'll have explored that.
And we're gonna be close to spending that, you think, by the time we get the lake
Well, the
manager?
75, but we'll still have.
I gave him that number because of
Okay.
the contract increase, and then we took what PLM used for treatment last year.
Okay,
And then I arbitrarily added, I think 15,000, wasn't it? It was 10 or 15 because the committee definitely wants to do treatments that are more labor intensive if it is appropriate for us to
Okay.
do it as opposed to an herbicide. So when we added it up, I mean, it was 75. I mean, it was right up.
how many years are left on the 3?
least-
I actually asked you that question. I'm trying to remember what you told.
It's more than you think. I think.
Was it like,
6?
I was gonna say like 6.
Well, we're fine. We just don't wanna end up at the end to have money left.
Well, but
I
It's a
mean,
10-year, wasn't it?
I just wanna
I remember,
understand
but
what the
I asked him
obligations are.
when I
make sure.
started.
yeah, that's what it is. You don't wanna end up with money left.
Yes, sir.
At the end of every 5 years, you can only have 5%.
Yeah, and I don't know how that works. That's why I wanna check that with the fact that we don't have a stable. I mean, we can say that. We can say, okay, we're not gonna levy this. Let's say this was the 5th year coming up. We're not gonna levy this special assessment. And now we have $150,000 of costs. Well, the township would have to float a loan from the general fund to that spot, and then we'd have to recoup that special assessment,
Which is,
The next
you don't
year.
wanna do that.
which maybe that's what we have to do, but we just have to understand it, I think. So it's a Tom question and MTA question. So we have time to address it.
Yeah.
But it's just something I want to think. So I don't have anything else. I do have to get with you, Dick, on a few things. There's some miscodings that have happened this year on some of the expenses that I'm trying to work out so they get in the right bucket. I think we may want to work with the new clerk to simplify even more the chart of accounts, so it's a little bit easier for consistency, and I can see where there's some confusion where some of that stuff comes in on how to code things. But I'm gonna work with the new clerk to make sure we get that right and keep moving forward. So that's the budget introduction. We've got that meeting. Everybody should have it on their calendars in a couple of weeks. It's at 5 o'clock though, so that more public can be here. I don't know if there's any questions on that, just kind of an overview.
No,
Does that lake budget, is it vary because of this invasive species?
treatment area.
Okay, gotcha.
Some years we did really good kill and there was a real small area and
And
then
then other years it's all over.
it's all over the, yeah,
Gotcha.
there's really no. Seems like the years we don't treat as much, it comes back
Yeah.
worse and what they're trying to be cognizant of both ways, I guess. You'll get this on the website?
Yep.
Okay,
Now we
Jim.
got all of the supplemental.
yes, the 5 items.
So the first one is resignation by Al Taylor from the invasive species fund.
Okay,
We don't have to do anything. Because Cindy's already on the committee, so she would be our representative to the invasive species. Unless you choose to put somebody else on it.
why did you want to be?
No,
Okay. Didn't think so. So we need someone's make a motion to accept his resignation.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept Al's resignation and thank.
Second that, any discussion? No, he put in many years on these. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried.
Next item is just the county's blight complaint letter. So it's more for reference than anything. Then there is the hazardous waste disposal program that we participate in.
Then I'm gonna assume we need to.
Act on,
participate.
Yes, you have to act on it, have
And
to
the
sign
amount of
it.
$602.10.
it's money well spent.
I would make that motion to approve that agreement and pay the $602.10.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Does it have the date on there again? It's September or August? August.
Saturday, August 16th.
Oh, okay. Don't take advantage of that, you should, because they take stuff that you shouldn't, people throw down the drain or people do.
You're talking
Yeah.
about oil, gas, paint.
All kind of old
DDT,
chemicals, DDT,
pesticide,
pesticide, you know, all kinds.
If it ends up in
And
the,
then the 9 mile.
I can give you some figures if you're interested.
if it ends up in the storm sewer, it's a problem.
What does it say, Bob?
The biggest contributor is, guess what? Chemicals and pesticides.
I would bet, because some of that old stuff is on the old farms.
62,224 pounds of
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah,
material.
What about the pickup here that we have once a year?
that's trash.
That's our track.
Trash or metal or,
This is just,
It's something that.
this is
I've always-
hazardous waste.
It's something I've always brought up to the village, but it's nothing on your thing, but. Could we have it twice a year, like in the fall before winter?
same thing.
That'd be up to the board. We pay for it, so.
About $5,000, right?
Yes. I think, Dan. One's ours, one's going back.
Oh, we didn't vote on this yet.
We did,
Oh, good thing I caught myself. Cindy, how do you vote?
yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Bob, Ed?
Yes.
David, yes, okay. And it has the amount of it's not written in here, what is it?
602, 10. $602.10.
How do they get that?
It's per person, per population, or per parcel,
Population per,
per parcel.
we're not a heavy user, but we're right there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, the 60-some thousand wasn't all from a township.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, that's total what they,
Total.
Oh, my goodness.
they put it in drums and barrels and it's quite. Back to Bob, okay, Ed, what's next?
Okay, next item was the second violation notice, order to restore for Mr. Hanford. We talked about that. But there was also a Eagle notice. I think it's just more for information, Bob, right?
Yes,
For a pre-application meeting for a site on William Floor.
it's an Eagle
Notice of
notice
permit.
of pre-application meeting.
Next item is surveillance system proposal. So the surveillance system that we have here is not been maintained and is old and fire is basically shut off. So Shelley had gotten a proposal about a year ago from a company. And then I got another proposal just to kind of check it from a different firm. I just didn't know what the appetite was here for going ahead with that. I know Rob made a comment after we did this proposal that he wanted one more camera. So he could see the back of the fire meeting room where there's a door and windows, because there wasn't one on the original plan. So I did reach out to the gentleman from EPS, and got an updated estimate. And so the new estimate there for his proposal would be about $6,210. It excludes this optional infrared illuminator that wouldn't be on there. And then there's like a $45 to $50 a month, so $600 a year maintenance fee, which they come down periodically, clean the stuff. If a camera fails, they replace it. If there's a problem, they fix it. We don't have to worry about, that's the problem with this system, is we don't have anybody to service it.
Do they
So
monitor it or there's a storage?
they don't
like-
monitor it. We have the ability to look at it. It goes up to the cloud. You can get it on your phone. You can, when we're gonna move it, it's not gonna sit in the corner here. It would be with the server equipment in the other room.
Need one more camera for that
Got one that'll look right at it.
after the box.
Yep, if you look at the, in the packet, there's a map of where they are.
Yes, I see it.
I made them put one on the,
That'll
so it'll be in this corner, it'll be looking that way, so they'll be able to see it.
And how about the mailbox on the front of the treasurers?
And there's one there on the mailbox, it'll be on that corner looking through the door.
Okay.
It should have good coverage, but, I don't know how the board wanted to.
Need any resolution to see what it's like compared to the other camera we had, or?
Oh, they'll be way better than these. Much better. The proposal, because I know these are what, how many years old, 10?
Oh, at least.
over that.
So how long have we been functioning without a functioning security system?
When did you? It's about a few months, right?
6 months.
Yeah.
Around there.
And I'm assuming the security system is more a proactive measure than being done because of issues that occurred.
And it's not really a
Proactive.
security system, like it's not, there's not
That-
alarms.
No, it's not,
Just
yeah,
surveillance.
yeah,
for-
surveillance.
Well,
I probably
yeah.
shows.
objective.
For instance, when we put this system, our system that's here now, when we put that system in, this camera showing the office is illegal when you have voters here. We have been nipped twice now because of that camera. That's how antiqued it is.
You have to have a camera for the voter box,
For the voter box.
You have to have
Camera on it.
so
You can
that,
have no cameras in here because this is where we vote,
Well, there will be a camera, but you just have to shut it off or tape over it when you have. a-
inside.
Yeah.
inside, but they have to have a camera that shows, you have to cover the voter box, oh, yeah.
I guess that makes sense with
Yeah.
all the.
It's
cameras.
more of just, if somebody breaks in and damages stuff, you want to be able to try to. catch
It'll
them.
stop everyone from running from stuff in the ballot box, when I'm
You-
ballot.
Part of it was to monitor the recycling things too.
Yeah, but you
That was
couldn't,
ineffective because you'd catch them, and if you did see them, they wouldn't do anything about it, and so half the time you couldn't see them because the
it
resolution.
was
wasn't-
very hard to see who it was, and they knew where the camera was, so they parked their car just out of, and walk over and threw the garbage in it, and no, it was a game.
So
I
I
guess.
didn't know that.
And then we did catch the guy, a couple guys, and the county prosecutor just said,
Gave them,
Not gonna
they
waste
gave
their
the
time.
tape, the license plate, and the guy's ID, everything else, and I'm too busy. I don't have time for that trivia stuff.
so that wasn't,
So you're not interested in like a glass break or motion sensor for,
These are motion activated, but it's not a glass, it's not an alarm system, it's just.
so there's no monitoring. Okay.
well, there would be monitoring after the fact, but no one live monitoring.
But I think the key thing is there's maintenance on it so that
It's up to
nobody
date,
has to worry
yeah.
about it. I mean, somebody's gonna have to know how to use it and access it, which that's easy enough, but they don't have to worry about, oh, that camera's broken, now we need to get it fixed, they'll just come and do it.
Or it's got snow on it.
I mean, it's probably a good idea to have it.
I think it is.
Yeah, especially with the
we
fire
budgeted
department,
for it.
with all their equipment and.
I think the budget was like 5,500,
So
so
it's a little bit more.
it's a little more than that.
When do you want to decide that? You want to decide that today? Yeah, let's make the motion.
I'd make a motion, we go with the EPS proposal, for the video camera system. With the modification of adding that one camera and removing the infrared illuminator. And the total will be right around 6,300.
Okay, is there a second?
I'd second that.
Is that, so they do the wiring, so when,
I'm gonna have them do it, not top.
all of it, even the power wiring?
They'll do everything. Fast.
I'll second that.
Matt already beat you. Sorry. Discussion?
You double second.
Thank you. He didn't hear. Any other discussion? Cindy?
Yes,
Matt?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
David, yes, okay.
Okay, Bob sent me a Larson landscaping proposal for summer and spring.
It is, the proposal is for fertilizing only in this next year. It's on the first page, it says 25 fertilizing. Which we usually do quite a bit of it, but this year I back off, because I think the grass needs a rest.
It grows too much?
I basically would recommend doing application number 2, which is $80, that's early summer fertilizer, weed control and grubs. And application number 4 for fall fertilizer with weed control is needed for $126.
And this is just here at the Township Hall.
That's just here at the Township Hall.
I have one question on that. I've always had this question. Maybe you guys can answer it for me. With it being so close to the lake and spraying those type of pesticides here, is that legal?
Yeah, they use phosphate
We
free.
have a release in here that says exactly what they did, what they're using. And it's
Biodegradable.
Yes.
Yeah,
They,
we
they
may,
do nothing that would harm any wildlife or water.
Okay, I was just wondering, cause I see other homeowners doing it too, and I wondered.
why do you think the grass needs a break, Bob?
Yeah, I couldn't see an awful lot of difference last year doing it 4 times.
Have we done it fewer times before
No,
in the past? I don't care one way or another, whatever works.
I think
You can
that,
always call them if you think the grass looks bad. The grass grows too much anyways.
yeah,
I mean,
your water.
don't water it, let it go
Well,
brown.
that's my recommendation. The other one is you gotta
That's
be
what I
thinking
do.
about,
Let it go gravel.
this is taking care of fertilizing. It's not doing anything with lawn mowing.
Well, we need to have a conversation about comprehensively bidding the lawn mowing out better.
Yes.
So I'll help with that project, but
Okay, and I got
Be
a couple
aware
of
of
guys,
that.
that some other guys would like to bid it, so that's fine.
I'll make a motion. We accept Bob's recommendation for the Larson fertilizing and rub weed control.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Okay, so now discussion, I'm gonna bring this up. Do we need to sign this or should we wait and get, if we're, let's say got somebody else to mow and that person is an applicator for a thing, do we just, are we jumping the gun here in February when maybe we should bid it all out together, is my opinion.
You could.
Okay, that's my opinion.
I would retract that if that's what we want to do. If we're gonna do a comprehensive.
All in
bid
one.
For all the mowing and fertilizing and all that stuff for the township, that's fine. My only comment would be, I think there's less people that do both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you might get fewer bids if you're, but it could be an alternate maybe. I don't,
Could be an alternate, you could,
we'd have to, it would make it a little bit more.
I'm just saying that's my opinion. You can do what you want. You made a motion and seconded, there's a second, so.
Doesn't matter. You know, it makes more sense to have one contractor doing everything for the township than it does 14.
What do you wanna do? You guys,
I'll withdraw my motion.
you withdrawing your second?
And
Until next month, Okay. So you got anything else for? Ed?
The last thing, what's the thing about a vacuum, Bob?
Our cleaning lady decided that the vacuum that we bought, we ruined it already. And she would like to buy a commercial vacuum, which is about the same as the other one, but it's $734.
What's the make?
It is a Windsor Sensor XP12 commercial vacuum.
So the other vacuum broken, it doesn't work anymore?
No, it does work, but the salt that's in here is taking its toll on it, and it's not picking up.
How old is that thing? That's gotta be,
Oh, Levon bought it, so
yeah, but she didn't buy it her last year.
it's over 5 years old easily.
Is this?
Yeah.
And the office is the only area that get vacuumed, right? There's nothing, or is the vacuum?
They use it out there in that,
Fire meeting
fire
room.
room meeting up to. But the total with everything with bags and all, it's like $776.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't
I
even,
would recommend it, but
Recommend when you don't need bags, and then it's a cordless.
well, I don't know if you're gonna get one that doesn't use with bags. I don't know.
Well, there's lots of them out there that don't.
Well, that's like the heavy duty commercial.
that is,
If that's.
I believe that's the kind that they use at the schools.
what, this one?
This one that he's talking about, yeah.
This is not a household,
No.
you mama.
It's got belts that you didn't change and I mean, it's pretty.
Okay. I don't know nothing about vacuums, so I'm gonna take the,
Dyson vacuums can be a
We
cylinder.
have a Dyson now, that's the problem.
Yeah, well, they make better ones now than what mine would have been too.
Well, the one they have sitting out there is about the same as this one,
Is it?
price wise.
junk.
I would move that we purchase the vacuum.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
motion made, seconded, discussion, none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, carried.
And the last thing we have is a letter about hunting from Mr.
Didn't we talk about
Jake
that?
Matthews.
Didn't we talk about that last month or the month before?
At some point, we had
We kind of brushed.
hunting on township property.
Yeah, about how do you,
The guy's
Brushed over
persistent.
it. I thought we said, no.
That's just another inquiry.
The guy's persistent. He emailed this 1, 2, three. And now he wants to talk just directly to Mr. Meister.
Yeah, well, yes, but my opinion is, I don't know how you decide who can hunt and who can't, and there's 45 acres, so how many guys you gonna have hunting on?
It's just a recipe for problems.
I mean,
I'm in favor of leaving it just exactly the way it is, the way it's written in our.
If you do decide to go with it, I would recommend going with Grant. Henry, he's a sergeant conservation officer. He's implemented these things in other communities and he's working with the wildlife biologists and they can recommend things if you want to entertain it more.
I just don't know how I mean, there's,
And they, yeah, I mean, you'd have to have, you can have, I think there's 4 different ways you can do it.
Like bid it out or something, like
No,
people could come
there's-
bid on it?
Well, yeah, you could have, an
a lottery,
well, you have to have somebody that shoots so many arrows in the somebody's gotta evaluate how good of a shot they
Oh,
are.
my God.
You can do it that way,
no,
We've gone through this twice.
or you can
Yeah.
do like a beaver nuisance permit where, you have a beaver on there, you go out and take care of it. I mean, there's whole.
would you actually call the deer a nuisance on, would you put that on a piece of paper? I know a bunch of farmers would love that.
And my wife and her flowers, heck, yeah.
Yeah, I see, that's how you get new people like, not liking deer. I think, my opinion is, I'm not answering the guy, well, we've already said no.
Okay,
Does somebody want it to be open here on the board?
Sounds like a big.
No, I don't want it to be.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Somebody needs to respond back to him. I would have the clerk respond back that the board is.
Okay,
Yeah,
ready for the repercussion.
Bob, actually good, that's a good
That's a
good
good idea.
statement, yeah, it is,
I
really.
told him no twice already.
You wanna do that? You do a letter on Monday? and
Third
just
time
tell
the
them-
charm.
We brought it up to the board and the board evaluated the position, reevaluated and said, you know what, we're just gonna leave it status quo. Not
Do you
open
have
for.
AI chat? Because they could write an awesome letter back to him about that for you.
Who?
AI chat.
Oh, no, more artificial, no, God, we got enough.
It works
problems.
wonderful.
I'm sure it does, but
Especially with Bob at the wheel of the eye.
are you done with your 5 items?
A sarcastic response letter.
You could probably do that.
Yes.
Good.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, Jim.
The only thing I have is that apparently Wayne Miller is gonna take Roger's place on the Harbor Commission.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay, did not know
Do
that.
you have to prove that or?
We do.
Do we?
Yeah. We
Okay.
approve everybody.
Even if it's from the village? Okay, is that for sure?
Yes, I talked to him today.
Okay, somebody wanna make that
I'd
motion?
make a motion, we appoint Wayne to the expired term of Roger for the Harbor Commission.
Remainder of the,
Yeah.
okay, is there a second?
Yes.
Second by Robert, any discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay,
That's it.
that's it, so now we get in the unfinished business with the DNR boat launch, parking lot paving and agreement, and all that.
That's why I'm hanging around. I just wanted to hear what you guys have to say. I mean, if only had one person respond to me and he said, in concept, that sounds good. You just have to review whatever the engineer comes up with as far as the paving plan. Probably spend a lot more time doing that than in concept, yeah, we could do this. Well, that's the response I had. Nobody else has responded yet, so I can follow up again with him. And are you gonna put that in writing for you guys? But,
So the problem is, if we don't have, okay. The grant that we're writing is to have the ability to have the engineering done. If we don't have that, we can't write the grant because they're not gonna give us a grant for money on something that we don't know or have the right to.
How much was the engineering? Do you remember?
Fine.
Five. Yeah.
I think it was 5,000.
Total engineering was like 10,900.
Oh,
And we were, the last motion we did was we were gonna, go for a $5,000 grant.
Yeah, through the.
Yeah, and we would do the 5,900 match. Now, if we wanna change that and not do a grant there and go with the engineering, then you eliminate that issue. See what I'm saying?
From a timing perspective, let's say we just paid for the engineering, got that done, and then, got an estimate to see what it would cost to pave it. I don't know what that would be, 40, 30 grand?
I think we had an estimate.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wasn't
The
it like
estimate was
You have one,
176 if they went with one.
you have an engineering
One with the three
proposal
edges.
from Spicer.
I know, but I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember, but
And you have a,
Or 80, not one, it was
it was
70,
76,000.
76 for one and 85, 84 for two lifts of 1.5.
So I don't know what the DNR would like to see, but do we think that the community foundation would be likely to grant fund some of that? It's just, it's a
you just don't
crapshoot.
know. Oh,
When
what
is that
it depends
cycle?
on is how many people submit in the grant cycle.
Yeah. But I guess the point is, even if we, in a perfect world, that probably isn't getting done this summer anyway, because of the community foundation grant cycle. Is that accurate or not?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So how long does it take to get through your process if we had engineering?
I'm retiring in 2 weeks, but
Well, that's what I said.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob, he leaves before you.
didn't Spicer do the engineering already?
No, that's
No.
what we were writing the grant for.
What do you think, what was it I gave you? What did I give? Spicer gave us
An
engineering
estimate
on
for
what?
what it would
That
cost
was,
to do
that
it.
was the estimate to do it.
That was the
There
estimate.
you go. Got your engineering done.
No, we have an estimate.
No.
How much engineering's not done. The billing's
Did the
done.
Engineering.
No, so what,
There's all kinds of drawings in there.
Well, wouldn't they have to know what they're doing to be able to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say it's pretty much done.
no,
No.
engineering is not done.
They gotta make bid documents.
Well, no, they need to design what the parking lot's gonna look like. Bidding it out is a whole different thing. That's part of the construction project.
So
So,
that's what Spicer's gonna do is create the bidding documents.
okay, as part of that $10,900 engineering,
Right,
that's even
okay.
better than, that's saving us a little bit of money, so.
Is this
Okay.
for the park down here, the
No,
lunch? No,
DNR launch.
DNR won't want.
Boat launch.
okay,
Oh,
that's
wow.
on the other end of the forty six.
Yeah, west end or
So-
north. Well, go ahead.
So you're talking about, the first thing I heard that they were gonna dredge.
That's a separate thing.
That's a separate thing.
And I can
You're
talk
talking
about
about the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a parking lot.
There's another piece of that too, because dredging without putting in any additional pads in, it's not gonna do any good. You're gonna have more of a problem than you already have.
So I have the permit from Eagle for, 60 feet out, the ramp and just a little area right around there, but I don't have the channel done yet. I haven't got that approved yet.
Well, and one of the things for that,
But we would need to have an upland space for all that dredge materials too, so that's gonna kind of build up around the outside edge, a little higher, seems. It depends on how much dredge they allow us to do, and so that's gotta be beyond the pavement.
Right.
So that's gotta be on site.
Maybe you
No,
could-
I don't.
one of the
Mr.
things,
Hanford.
one of the things I suggest.
Put it back over in the
There
wetland,
is money available.
recycle.
For something like that. It's not a huge project to have that come in, and it's in the DNR trust fund. And, that's all the oil and gas revenues, and it goes just specifically for those things. And they've done a lot of ramps. They've done them up at Crystal. I've seen them all over.
Well, the ramp is getting paid for by DNR staff. I got a construction crew out of Ground that's gonna do the ramp, the 60 foot out.
Right, well,
As far as they can reach with the excavator. What we're trying to do is with the dredge, the channel out to the lake, is get at the same time we're doing the
Channel.
yeah, the channel. Have the same contractor come out, and Jim and I met with my supervisor, and he has her number, and so he can kind of move forward with that. He's really good at keeping up and talking with people, continuing to put pressure. So, yeah, so that's the plan, is to get the dredge the channel out if the water level goes down to a point where we need to get boats in and out of there.
well, what happens right there is that the way the ramp is right now, in the shallow water like that, people are backing in, they're dropping their trailer wheels off,
And I know,
and then they can't get them out. They have to be towed out. it sinks down and I watched a guy put his four-wheeler over the edge of that, trying to get his trailer out with a boat on it. And it was a mess because, but it was.
So
because
is
it
there
drops
any
off, it
ability to
washes
put more
off.
concrete?
It's the people that come in and pull their boats out of the water, they
I
power
didn't put
wash.
that in the permit.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Well, the Elmer's actually
The
makes.
same crew could do it, could put the concrete ramps in. You know, we have DNR construction crews put those in all the time and they could do it themselves.
Yeah,
How far now? I have no idea. How far does the concrete go out?
it just goes out at the end of the dock, which is a short dock, and half the time the dock doesn't.
30
go
foot
very
dock.
far.
Yeah, courtesy pier.
Well, is that something that probably not, well, maybe you could get started, they could evaluate that and then have that be a separate part of different permit to do that if that was deemed necessary with your experts looking at it?
Yeah, we did soundings and, I do have that data, did share it with Eagle. So we had it on a certain date and we could always just check what the water level was then and where it is now and be able to.
But, yeah, I mean, it may not be an issue, it might be an issue, I don't know, but getting back to the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that grant or the sharing agreement or whatever it is that you had sent over before. So we're,
Acceptance.
yeah, we're not anticipating any state directly from the DNR assistance on that. Would there be any partnership with that or would that just be all?
Jim and I, she said no to us,
Okay.
but I mean, it doesn't hurt for Jim to continue to ask.
But I'm wondering, I mean, we could go to the community foundation, but I'm wondering if the recreational passport might be a source to pay for that.
Trust fund, like he says, or land and water conservation.
Yeah, but
Those
I
three
guess
funds are the.
the point is, depending on what those grant cycles are, it feels like we need to get the engineering done, but if we wait for the one community foundation grant, which we might be able to get fairly quickly, we still may not be able to do it this year. It might be a next year project by the time we line up all the other grant funds. That's what it feels like.
The deadline for
Well-
the trust fund is April 1st, I think.
Yeah,
The trust fund,
The DNR trust fund.
but I think those other ones
It's a
might
simple,
be,
it's grant. It's a really close grant.
Laura pretty much said we would get it,
get what,
That's
the
separate.
community foundation?
the grant from the foundation,
But do they have a matching requirement?
10%.
Oh. I would like to think that that would be our easiest and fastest bet is to do that, but we need to be cognizant of like the land and water when those grant cycles are, and I don't have it at my fingertips, but, as a backup plan. So really it could happen in 26 even. You guys really don't care when it happens. They just know it's out there.
Oh, no, we just want it to happen.
Yeah, okay.
How far out would you put, let's say you did more concrete, how far out would you need to go? With another slab?
Well, they come in, Elmer's does this, they actually make them up in Traverse City, make the slabs just for launch ramps.
Okay,
They bring them in on a truck. It's all steel, they're little rungs, they lift them off, set it down and, you know, so depends on how much you want to dredge out of there, how far you want to go. And you need the angle of the thing, which, that angle is not a good one on that ramp. The
It's
one
not.
that see is probably the best ramp on Lake Michigan.
so what's wrong with the angle there?
We build them at 13%. That's what we build them at. And I used to manage a construction crew that put in ramps. That's all I did. So yeah, it's more complicated than what he's saying. I mean, you have to take it out and put the base is most important and getting, you know,
Yeah, you don't wanna put on a bunch of mud.
right.
Yeah.
So what angle is this one here? Is this at a steeper angle?
At 13% as far as I know.
Okay,
It's pretty close to that. That's what best they did. It may settle some, but
so I said, since I don't know, so what happens if you put that in, does mud then come back up on that and that's what you have to take off going
yeah, I mean,
forward?
the current's flowing through in that channel. I think the last time the channel was dredged was in the 1990s. I think it might have been cleaned up a little bit in early 2000s, but that channel all the way out to the deep water was the biggest one was in 1988, and then there's another one in the 90s. And the Eagle would not allow us to dredge that channel out unless it was done previously. So luckily we have,
Oh,
that's the problem with, I didn't find that paperwork, so that's why we only have the, around the ramp permit done, because I couldn't find any paperwork where it done previously. So I did find that 1988 at another completely different office. They said that they had it in file, so
okay. So if you wouldn't have found that, they wouldn't let us dredge from the launch out to get to deep water?
Correct.
That's
Oh,
what they
wow.
told me.
But that permit is in process and we expect that to get issued.
I don't know. I mean, I think we have another month before the end of the evaluation time or
Okay.
something like that.
Is there any
Anything
reason
we
you
should
think
be
they
doing
wouldn't?
to help with that?
No, the issue is that I'm leaving and it would been in my name. And so we're trying to transfer that to the construction crew, Joe McDonald out of Groton. He's the supervisor of it. He's got the excavators and all the staff and expertise to do this. And so transferring that in, I don't know how that's gonna work. So,
Well, they're just not gonna drop it, are they?
no,
Oh.
I'm not.
Well, okay.
No, it's Eagle. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not.
you're not making, you're not gonna bet?
There is a difference between DNR and Eagle Eye.
I don't know.
Cindy, so circling back to your conversations with Laura, if we did that, is that the mini grant cycle or whatever?
Yeah, if you remember, and I think I sent like an informational thing to you on that. So what we approved here was the mini grant, so that can be submitted at any time. And then you'll get a response within 45 days. The holdup right now is they're not gonna approve a grant for us to do engineering on a piece of property that we
We
don't
don't know.
own. So I can't submit it until I can prove we have the right to do it.
And does the
Okay.
DNR give us like a temporary
There's an
It's a gift
agreement that I've
gift
already
and
given.
acceptance, they call it. It's a,
for so many days or something?
no, you just spell out what you wanna do and we say, yeah. Basically, but it's got a lot of language.
But if we can't get a grant, on priorities change, we're not committed to that, right? It's just.
No.
Okay.
No, but the concern
You
I
can
had
put that-
listening to what Doug just said is if one of the comments coming back is, yeah, once we see all the engineering and whatever, I'll react to this, then we're in kind of a catch 22 because we can't get the engineering done until, I mean, we can't have all of, the engineering done until we get the one grant approved, and I can't get the grant approved till I have that in my hand. So that was new information to me just now.
Well, and if you're using the same spec what you did previously, I would imagine it'd go right through. So if you're using, the paving that you did for the,
Oh, you mean for
Kayak
the
launch.
trust fund grant?
yeah, the
Okay.
kayak launch, use that same, because it's the same people evaluating it. If you use that same spec, as far as the paving and, I don't know what that was. I'm sorry, I don't remember, but.
But,
Spicer.
so if you want to go further,
Tactical, make was 3 inches on one wood.
Okay, I didn't remember.
But to Cindy's point, she's thinking that there's a problem that the DNR wouldn't approve or wouldn't give the green light or execute a gift agreement
need that
without the
gift
engineering. So it is a chicken and an egg. So
It
does that
is.
mean we probably just need to fund the engineering?
Well,
well,
means-
that's, like I said, I just heard that comment just now, and that's where I'm saying, okay, wait a minute, we have a problem.
Could we do that mini grant, like, and say something, this mini grant is,
No, I mean, that's one of the requirements of submission, and the only reason I know is I've had to do them on others.
Refund the engineering immediately.
so maybe that's what we just have to bite the bullet and do it, yeah.
Might have
I
to.
don't know, it was being accepted in concept, I can put, we can have a conference call with Jordan Bialik.
I'd be happy to.
It'd be nice to know that going on, yeah, so you don't say, oh, yeah, well, we had misunderstanding.
Gift thing, from DNR, that's all done.
Yeah,
I know, but I don't have it.
No, the thing that I worked on, that's the gift that we're giving the finished product back to the owner.
And he has to run that through his channels, and that's where he got the
Submitted
comment,
it, and
where
then
they said
so
we
we got
want to
one
see the
comment back.
engineering. And so if I can't get that signed to submit, I can't submit.
Jordan might sign it now, long enough, he was the only one who responded and.
Yeah, I'm happy to
He
have
might
a
just-
conversation. I
he
mean,
might just do that.
that's the holdup with
If you took
submitting
that
the
up there
grant.
and put it in front of his face, you'd say,
So-
yeah, okay.
I wanna drive to Lansing, do you?
No, I know.
Tomorrow,
I'll be in Lansing in March, I'll stop by.
March is probably too late.
Yeah.
Well,
It'd be nice if we could get a conference
for him to
call.
go get it signed.
I
Well,
think
for
if
the mini
you,
grant, it's not, because we
Yeah.
can, the mini grant has no
Oh.
grant cycle.
but I think Cindy, if you guys explain that to Jordan, I think he'll be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to like I said.
Then once you have that, you get the green light to.
Yeah, I mean, the mini grant application is just, I mean, it's as long as a larger grant application, but I've got all the information. I've met with Jim. I might have a couple questions as I finish it, but that's my holdup right now.
Okay.
So then, and to get to your other point, Ed, Jim and I talked because I had it. After we approved it, Jim and I were both under the impression, I think Laura had said something to Jim or intimated that the grant cycle ended April, or was April 1st.
Right.
So originally we were thinking, okay, we'll do the mini grant at 45 days, assuming we thought we'd get the DNR thing quicker, and then we'd be positioned to submit. Well, then the foundation came out and announced, nope, it's due March 1st. So the minute I saw that, I contacted Laura and said, hey, here's the situation. You know, I understand you've talked to Jim. I said, the problem is if we do this mini grant, I said, even if we don't do the mini grant, to get the engineering done, to be ready, it's impossible. I mean, you know what? And so I said, so what you're telling me is we'd really have to wait till the second grant cycle. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. So I contacted Jim and he said, well, that's better than nothing if we do it next year. I had a subsequent conversation with Laura where she said, well, if you're outside of a grant cycle, at least have a conversation with me. And I think part of that might be, I know last year they extended the grant application. And so, you know, she's not guaranteeing anything, but I think if they don't use the funds, there might be an opportunity to do something.
Okay.
But that's not any commitment I have.
Well, I like that approach of talking to Jordan and then hopefully getting the mini grant submitted and then we'll go from there.
Mhm.
And we can look at, I mean, I can have a conversation with, Sharon at the DNR and see if she thinks one of these might be a good fit for another grant if we can't get
Sure.
the foundation.
Yeah, and I mean, worst case, we can hit the second grant cycle,
Yeah.
which I think is September. I've got it written down, I just don't remember.
I think
Okay.
that'd be an excellent upgrade for the community because that place can be a mess. I mean, remember 2 years ago, there was potholes, you'd lose your car and going into the driveway.
Part of it is the base, you know, the water was up so high.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
hard. I mean, we graded and, you know,
Yeah.
2 days later it was, and so that's kind of the biggest key element when you do pave it. Make sure you get a really good base in
Yeah.
there. I think the base is more important than the paving on top.
Because the
So-
water's gonna come up again.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, and I was just gonna say, I think they're predicting the water levels are now gonna be below the long-term average. So is your dredging based on depth of the current water level or the long-term average? I mean, is that gonna allow you to go deeper if you get that
Well, it's
dredging from
the
that?
ordinary high water mark. I think it has
Okay.
a standard number for the Lake Michigan, and so that's what it's based on.
Okay, but I think it's gonna be below that, so they're gonna have to.
We're supposed to be down again this year?
It's already below that, so.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, I think it's at 280 or 582 and we're down. to
How do we go from,
570
I mean, that's almost over the top of the pier.
What was it 5 years ago?
Crazy, the highest ever.
No, I know it was.
582 is the ordinary high water mark. I don't know
This
how
year.
high.
It was
we
586, I think, it was like 4 feet above.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 feet above.
Now it's,
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
577.
so you're 10 feet down.
Wow.
Where'd all the water go?
You pull the plug.
In the
It's
air.
coming down.
Yeah, we're getting it back. It's coming back.
It all went
That's,
away?
that's helpful.
Okay, you have a path now?
Let's talk, Cindy.
I've had a path.
Let's talk, Cindy, about that
There's
conference
a
call.
motion on, there's a
There
motion we
is?
made. No, there's a motion we made. My path's fine.
Okay,
Until he made that comment. I'm like,
Okay.
wait a minute, we got a problem.
Sorry.
no, thank you.
Let me know and
Yeah,
we'll
let's
do a
talk
call.
tomorrow.
All right,
Thank you.
recording secretary.
We'll see ya.
See you later. Thanks.
So Cindy and I are working on that. We need to get something out there. But I guess the question is this, we pay,
Would that be the fun?
well, I'll cut through the chase. A lot of boards and committees take their own notes. But there's some that are there's more legal liability to the township, like the planning commission, the zoning board of appeals, where I think those minutes need to be at maybe a higher level. But also the volunteers on the other board and committees want to do the committee work and not necessarily that administrative minutes and don't have the time or the expertise to do that. So I think it's hard to get, the right mix, and not for how we advertise this position to do it. I don't know. We want to look internally and maybe see, I'm not sure the right approach. And it's not, we're not just paying them an hourly rate, at least not with Michelle. She gets a different rate, which gets to be complicated for the payroll folks sometimes, or I don't know. It seems like a simple issue, but it's really not a simple issue.
Okay,
And I had contacted Michelle and she said, hey, do you know anybody? And she claims that she talked to a few people, but you know, nobody's really interested in it. So, I mean, it's kind of an odd position. You know, I mean, somebody's got to be at the, I mean, when meetings are only regular meetings, at least you could plan. But, you know, I know like with invasive species, if we had relied on Michelle, we had, I don't know how many meetings, you know, that we added. So it just, it's kind of an odd. Hey, Bob. Got an idea?
Note
for-
taker.
Got a job for you in your retirement now. Thank you.
okay.
Can't handle
I don't know what we.
Is there,
do.
is there, I'm just wondering, is there any like software note-taking software?
So
There
Easy
probably
to
is.
we have extra laptops now because you're not using.
You know what,
them.
I'm gonna have to get one
Yeah.
though.
Okay, that's fine.
Because my
Dave
app, my Apple
Uh,
doesn't have, I'd have to go buy a bunch of little
well,
connectors.
maybe we don't have extra ones now, because with Dave's, we
Yeah.
gave to the election people, and I think, Jennifer's gonna want them, but we can buy one. Don't make it, we can have a laptop that we keep here. And we can train everybody up on the owl, and we can get the Zoom
And that's-
thing or whatever the issues
Yeah.
there. Because the Zoom thing, you can take AI notes. And then at some point, somebody just has to massage those into some kind of an agenda. So that might be an option, but, Vic, I mean, I think the Parks Commission is probably the one that has the most difficulty, right? With that,
Oh, we have lots of content, that's for sure.
right?
And
So I'm not sure what the answer, is. I don't know that the Harbor Commission is meeting a whole lot, and I don't, have we been getting minutes from the Harbor Commission, or?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any minutes at all.
He said he sent some, but I didn't see them.
Okay, they're all supposed to be taking minutes. There's a standard form in the bylaws that says this is what we're supposed to do, so that's the advantage having the recording secretary. But, you know, we might need to revisit that with the boards and commissions. I think Michelle is doing planning commission and ZBA, is that right?
I only heard I thought her letter only said planning commission.
Planning commission, she said.
Okay, well, we have to have somebody taking comprehensive minutes for ZBA, so that's gotta get addressed. So maybe we table this until we get the new clerk on board and ask her what she thinks.
Okay,
I mean, to me, that might make sense.
that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
To you, one. Damn.
But we can work on using the technology we have with some more training too, which I think will be
Yeah.
helpful.
And I technically wouldn't need the computer to have with me. I just would need it here for meetings for, like the Trails team, because the Apple only has, I'd have to go get like special attachments to hook into anything, cause,
Yeah, we've got one sitting in there. just-
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it,
okay,
so.
I realized that just before the meeting.
Just gonna look for town, for our case, okay,
That's what I
so,
should do, is just for the heck of it, use the AIR next
and see it,
invasive species just to see how.
See how it
I
works?
Still keep notes, but
I didn't use it on this.
what
one.
does it do? Does it condense down
It
what?
takes it kind of does a transcription.
have you used it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Did you?
My credentials don't allow me to, Ed's do.
Yeah,
But I only got Ed's just before the meeting and I didn't have.
we're gonna have to figure that out. That's a Zoom issue because you're supposed to be able to assign somebody else to have the same rights that I do, and it doesn't work. So we either have to upgrade the license or something. We gotta get that figured out. It's just a pain right now.
Yeah,
So what I will do, assuming I don't forget, Monday, I would use AI of invasive species just to see what kind of product I get.
Okay,
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, it
yeah,
would solve a lot of issues as far as note taking.
Somebody still has to put them into the minute.
Yeah,
But
right.
anyway, it could,
But at least we have all the record of what's going on,
Assuming it.
hoping that it does, yes.
Well, you have it with the owl already.
Right.
Well, here's the thing though, somebody at those committees has to be taking contemporaneous notes at a minimum, because this doesn't always work. And that's kind of a requirement for best practice, and the state might even have some requirements on that, so that way, if that fails, at least you've got
Something to fall
something
back
to be
on.
able to fall back on. Otherwise, I mean, we had a township board meeting that didn't record one.
At the beginning, well, or even recently.
There was
where-
one that didn't record at all.
Right.
Shelley came to me in a panic and because I wasn't there that day and she couldn't find it. It was gone, so anyways, that happens, right? Internet could go down right now.
And you don't even know it's, yeah.
So anyway, we'll sort through it.
Okay. We'll go through this unfinished DeVoe compliance, so he's got, like I said, we talked about, we're gonna be there in the spring. Hopefully, he says he's gonna put the rest of this fence up. That's where that's at. Bernard dock violation, so we have a date,
You have a date with the judge.
yeah. It is March 18th. In downtown Manistee, Tuesday. I have to be there, so that's gonna go forward. Send in all the pictures when you did that. Other thing is still there, Portage Lake Covenant Bible Camp, road vacation. I don't think we have the agreement yet, do we?
Never heard of it.
No, it's fine. I mean, they're moving forward, so.
But is there, who is gonna work on the agreement for the public access? That's what this is about, not all this.
They've already talked about, it, so the public access is gonna be, they're just gonna allow the normal, the wording's between Tom and Richard.
They're working on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're actually gonna have something, so we'll have it should have it by next month, so. Harbor Commission, we already had that report. Parks and Rec,
All right, well, speaking of minutes, the December meeting minutes are posted on the website. The January agenda is posted on the website. The January meeting minutes are not. Because I don't have anybody to take those and I've got called out of town, so I guess I will try to go to the owl and do those. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna tell someone on Parks and Rec that they need to accept responsibility for being the contemporaneous notes person. Because I don't have the skill set to handle the meeting and keep it in flow and take notes, so.
Yeah, the chair of the meeting shouldn't be the one taking the minutes. It's gotta
I
be
get it,
somebody
but-
else, so.
Speaking of membership, Paul Mueller has, resigned. His term, lasts 2 more months till the end of March. And, I sent an email to all of you today with an application from Chelsea Willis, to finish up his term and also, to take his next term. Chelsea came to our, Parks meeting to go over her resume and make a presentation to us. And she got acquainted, she's been here for a couple of years. She got acquainted with Parks and Rec by volunteering for the spring cleanup at Glen Park. And has been part of several of Michelle's events and I wouldn't go so far as to say that Michelle officially sponsored her, but was very, very supportive of her. So I've included her application and you guys have to approve membership. And then also I want to mention that Mickey Finan was named to be on Parks and Rec for Township as the village representative. But you also need to approve that. So those things are there for your consideration. And she did say that she would be willing to volunteer between 10 and 20 hours a month, which would be absolutely fantastic. We need someone to devote that amount of time.
I make a motion, we accept Paul Mueller's resignation with regrets.
second,
Second.
Bob, thank you, discussion. None being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We should send a letter to
Clerk consent.
clerk. And send a thank you letter. We need to draft.
To both Paul and,
Yeah,
Al. Yeah. Al especially doing both, but maybe you can have the AI person at Chat or whatever help you with
Yeah.
that. I bet you could.
What a month.
Have you used it?
Yeah, I'm getting dumber all the time using that thing.
I think we could just do our own letter probably. Okay, and what about appointing Miss Wills?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I will.
This is to fulfill Paul's remainder.
And the
And
next term.
the next one.
Okay,
And there's some other expirations that I'll bring at our March meeting for you to consider as well.
somebody second that?
I did.
Thank you. Guess we already had discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, carried.
what was the last thing about Mickey?
Mickey Finan.
Mickey's the village representative on Parks and Rec.
So we have a village representative, we have a school representative, but, they have to be approved by you as well.
Oh, who was the village representative?
Before?
John Wemlinger,
Oh, he stepped down.
and he stepped down, prior to him was Andrea Arthur,
Okay,
so this would be replacing John Wemlinger.
I'll make that motion.
For Mr. Finan, seconded by Bob. Any discussion? None being heard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, that's carried.
Okay, I also attended the Trails meeting and, Matt can correct me where I'm wrong, but, I volunteered to keep the
Yes.
Parks and Rec section, as the location of any updates from the Trails team. And so.
And you were also our extraneous note taker as well. Did a fine job.
I don't think he's doing that anymore, just so you know.
I'm not sure what you noticed, but I wasn't really taking notes.
Yeah.
But I do need the team to tell me who is the one that is going to be giving me direction on what should be posted on the website. I mean, we had some discussion. Okay, so.
That's easy, yeah.
Tell me what I need to put out there. The
Okay.
only thing that I was authorized to put up there was that document. And then I sent a copy of that document to you with adding Mickey and Susan in
Correct.
there.
Yes, perfect.
So I'd just like you to look at it.
Yep.
Give me a written, Vic, go
Is
ahead
there
and
any
update it.
reason?
I'll put it out there.
Any reason we were putting everything out there?
Well, at that Trails meeting.
Or do you want
Well-
that 200-page thing? Is that
Well,
out
the
there?
only issue with that was we didn't have it.
No, I mean, but now.
Oh, what we discussed at the meeting was we would like a chance for everyone to look at it, come back, and then our next meeting is the 28th after the Parks and Rec meeting. And after that meeting, when we have some discussion, then we would put that on the website.
Okay, because it needs to go out there.
So I guess, is there, if you guys or somebody reads it and they don't like it, is there still an opportunity to give feedback to Gordy Fraser to fix stuff, or no, are we pretty much done? But is if this is the final product, then
You're done, I
it
think.
probably should go out there, because it's not gonna have any changes, right? I mean, they're not gonna fix, they're gonna fix big typos if they were screwed up. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, during the meeting, there was discussion because we've been asked on several occasions to put out that document that was presented to the team, which was supposed to have been a closed meeting. And at the Trails meeting, it was discussed, no, we should not be putting that out there. So I was just directed not to put it out.
See, and I think.
And
it
we would
should.
wait for the final report and,
But this is the final report.
yes.
I think it needs to be out there personally.
I do too.
I mean,
I think it should be out there now. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
But-
You're not gonna change it.
No, we just thought it would be nice to be able to look at it a little bit, and then
Yeah, it's public information to come in.
it's a little, I mean, it's 236 pages, I think. Maybe. It's a book. And it's I was optimistic slightly looking at it, but then the costs are.
Put it out.
It's well done. Well, that we're on document.
We probably got our money's worth if you look at what we paid, even though it took them too long.
Per page,
It'd be a good idea to get that out, because there was so much skepticism about.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think you just put it out there right now and be done with it.
I'd say-
Or whatever it says.
Did you send me a copy of it? Was I on the distribution list?
if you weren't, I will get it to you.
Okay,
When I get it, I'll get it out.
can you do that? Thank you.
Yeah.
I would also like to suggest the copy be at the township hall, because that's going to be very, very difficult to read on the internet.
I think it is.
But we were working on that today.
Hey Libby,
Yes,
I've got some 3.5 power readers I'll lend you.
well, not if you've
Just
been wearing
kidding, I'm just
glasses
kidding.
since you were 2. Won't work.
If
And
you're
I've
trying to
been
read it
wearing
off,
glasses since I was 2, so
if you're trying to read it off your phone though, I'll tell you, that's not gonna work.
all I'm saying is I think
I get
that
it.
I would like to be able to say in Libby's lines that it is going to be on the
It will be.
website and also available at the township hall.
Did we
for
print a
the old
copy?
people who can't
Here?
We did it
read.
today.
Is
Okay,
that
it's here?
okay?
Yes, that's fine, there's a
That's all
copy
I
here.
wanted to know, like to be accurate in Libby's lines. Thank
Okay, where are we? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have nothing else. for
You don't?
this time.
Well, thank you.
There's some open items we can discuss at some of the.
So Vic, I need to chat with you about your budget submission, because and we'll chat offline on it. Yeah.
Call me anytime.
But I do think I have a question though about this for you and Matt. So we got $100,000 grant that's sitting there. We're gonna have expenses on those. Right now, they're not in the budget. So I think those should rightfully go under professional services as a placeholder under the parks budget for the grant, right? I mean, that's expenses potentially, so.
Okay, so should I put in a line item for professional services for the amount of the grant?
I'll add it. I'm just saying, because
Okay.
I think we need to do that, but I also think we need to put in potentially the full amount of the engineering, but at least part of it for the
Gordon Fraser.
full launch too in the parks
Full launch.
budget. So I can add that as well. It's gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, well, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay, but there's a few other things I need to chat with you about, but otherwise I got it all in there. And
Okay.
Okay. Fire department, we had a report, didn't we?
He closed one.
Oh.
There's a report there.
16 months. Okay. Zoning administrator, we did get a report, we got the violation one. There's a couple land divisions, I'm trying to think if there was a new. But people are still pulling permits for a new building. So kind of surprising on that, but. In houses, so that's all I got for that. Planning commission and ZBA, there is no meeting, there's no ZBA meeting scheduled,
I have a
Oh,
planning.
we've got,
commission, but,
okay.
Are we there yet?
didn't we have some submitted by Dave Wallace?
I missed it if we did. I didn't get it.
What was your question?
I just hate to sound like a broken record, whatever.
PPI?
We, I believe, need to figure out the current status of the PPI and get their permit updated or put a halt if it's not allowed under the current permit. Because I've heard a lot of different things, a lot of rumors. I've heard our planning folks say that his special use permit has expired. I didn't think special use permits expired, so they're saying that.
They don't.
Okay, then that's kind of weird information that's out there flipping around. I know there's the whole complication with the concerned citizen lawsuit. I don't know where that all stands. But I'm hearing things about, oh, they're gonna start condominiumizing the boat slips and, oh, they're gonna wanna condominiumize the hotel and make 6 units out of it. And, oh, they're gonna build something where they tore down the casino, which they didn't get a demo permit for, and, oh, they've sold some of the dollhouse. None of that stuff is allowed under their special use permit. At some point, the planning commission, Mr. Wallace, needs to affirmatively step up and figure out, or we could direct them to do that. I've been asking for several months now, and it feels like we haven't made any progress on that. So I don't know where that's at, but.
Well, the last time I made a report was our last meeting
Yeah.
when Dave Wallace said that he was personally going to deal with it and meet with Bob and determine plans. And that's the last that I heard because we did not have it.
So he's down south for a while now?
Till the end of the month.
Okay. Well, maybe when he gets back, we can
I
put a
talked-
deadline on that for getting
I
some
agree.
kind of report back. I mean, because the problem, and here it is, I don't have anything against Mr. Gazan, I want that place to succeed, period. But the problem is, the perception out there is, oh, he's getting away with a bunch of stuff,
Right.
whether right, wrong, or indifferent, and that breeds, I think, among some people, ability, well, I can do what I wanna do, or look at what Bob's doing, or look at what Mike's doing. And the township isn't gonna enforce that anyway, and it's like a broken window syndrome, if you don't have them fix that window, then it gets, and you keep, it's a domino effect. And I'd like to be able to say this summer, when we get all the summer people up here, and they're gonna be asking questions, that, yep, this is where this is at, and have a definitive answer.
So, in regards to that, so 2 days ago, I called Jody and Katie and said, I want you to dissect the special use permit and tell me if he can sell both slip condominiums.
And if he can, that's great.
And I think he can, but I said, I need to hear that from somebody, not me make that.
But I do believe that this, an issue pops up and we go in and we address that issue pops up.
We need to address the whole thing, I agree.
Yeah, the whole.
I agree. Cause the part about the hotel, he could convert the old hotel to condos, the problem is he can't get an occupancy permit, cause you got none of septic, so that's not gonna.
Well, I mean, what about selling the dollhouses? That wasn't, those dollhouses were gonna get, last I knew, they were gonna get moved down to the Ball Diamond. And he was gonna build some kind of a building there, unless that's changed, and it could be, my memory could be bad on that.
I just need an overall update plan.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only thing they can do now is the Ball Diamond's gonna be converted to a,
Sewer pit.
septic field.
But that's not in a special use permit.
Well, it wouldn't be, it'd be health department. They're not gonna allow him, the only way he can expand it,
Well,
he'd have to eliminate the boat building.
Right, I'm saying that
Yeah.
all this has to get updated, because here's the thing, people are, the speculation is rampant. Nobody knows what the status is. And there's all kinds of rumors flying around, and I think we owe it to the community to say, well, this is what it is. And you know what, I don't envy him, because when you've got a third party intervening in a lawsuit, it makes it really difficult, and I don't know what that settlement agreement is. Maybe we could get a copy of that, even if we had to.
There is no
start
settlement, it's on a stay right now,
Well, they agreed to something, I mean, right, with
No.
the stay or whatever.
just to stay. Put everything on hold.
It's just being renewed year after,
Okay, well, my understanding.
That's what they're doing.
My understanding was different than that, but anyway, regardless, it'd be good to have that information, at least not, if not a part of the.
No, I
record, at least
agree.
to have it.
Well,
And,
just so you know, they are both between Katie and Jody, and then David, when he comes back, that's right on the top of their list, but he's just gone now,
I will sit patiently,
just one more month.
or impatiently, as the case may be.
I'll add a little of that. I've got a dock out there and I've had it out there since the marina was first opened. And we just got a call or an email from a real estate agent this week. Said that all the docks, all the slips were gonna be condoized. And that if you are planning, it's sort of when, if you were planning on renewing your, which came up every year, your slip rental, that you had till, I don't know, third week in February to get your deposits in. And that at that point in time, they're putting all the docks, or the slips are gonna be open up, they're condoizing them. They're gonna be condoizing them. You have a list of all the services that were to be available from the condos. They had an estimate of what the taxes will be on the condo docks, this whole thing. And if you intend to do it, and you want the slip that you've got now, you had to let them know by the end of February. And there's no deed, there's no deeds, when is the.
What's that line in that
We've got an
movie?
excited
What's
real
that-
estate agent.
What's that line in the movie? You don't need no stinking deed.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
have-
deed, badges, whatever.
The Slips.
I'd kinda like to
This is
have a
the law,
deed.
this is slips and, this is like.
So how much,
What were they asking for the deposit?
how much,
Pardon?
What, did they say a figure for the deposit?
Oh, yeah,
Well-
they want a deposit on it, but the deeds aren't, well, when are the deeds gonna come?
Have to
Well,
be
I don't
deed,
know.
right?
Let me call
Well,
Bob.
I think he's saying.
Before you're allowed to, under the condominium act, before you're allowed to accept a deposit, you have.
Did they tell you how much they wanted to sell the condominiumized
Oh,
down?
yeah,
How
I mean,
much?
my slip was going for like $50,000.
Oh.
Which is, Cindy, they're going for a lot less than that down in the two that are listed right now down in Manistee. It's, I mean, and there you got 2 swimming pools, an indoor and outdoor, I mean, like, you got actually parking spaces.
Michael, I have a question. Does he right now have a pump out facility there?
Pardon?
Can you pump your boat out there now?
Can I what?
Pump your boat out, no.
If you had a had an indoor head?
Well, they got a pump out system there. I don't pump my boat out because I've got a boat that I can pull out of the water.
So they must presumably be pumping it into a
But
holding.
there
tank.
is-
I don't know that that's part of their special use permit either.
Well, and part of the whole thing is that, okay, what about the sewer system? You know, because that's up in the air out there. Now, all this stuff is in the master plan. You know, if you, I mean, I've got copies, of the original, all the original stuff he put out there for that. All that stuff was talked about. But the way this real estate agent was explaining that, no, this is on the road right now, this is now, I mean, they want a down payment by the end of this month.
Can't accept.
If you intend to do that,
For a slip rental or for buying a condo slip?
pardon?
So they're not doing just any rentals then this summer, is that what he's saying? Or are you still allowed to rent it and they're gonna sell them in the fall for next year?
They're gonna sell them right now and saying, if you don't want your slip now, then at a certain, then after the end of February, we're gonna put them out there for anybody that wants it.
But if you said, yeah, I wanna have my boat there, but I don't wanna buy a condo slip, would they rent you a slip there?
Well, I already gave them a deposit, so I locked that up and,
Okay.
but all of a sudden, everybody that's been out there forever, you know, is talking to each other about this, and it's like very
What would you actually
confusing.
own?
And Bob's not around to
Have
talk.
that dock slip.
That's it.
Or will they sell them in Harbor Village?
I know they sell, do they do the same thing in Harbor Village?
Well, but there's.
You gotta pay
It's
taxes
gonna be
on it,
available
not
out
homestead.
there, there's gonna be showers and bathrooms and, you know, all.
Oh, there is, because you're gonna use where the pool is.
Well, they can say, that's what they're saying, is you can use where the pool is. Which are with the, you know, if you come in there on your boat during the summertime, that's where you go to shower and do all that stuff, laundry services, the whole thing. And it's like, wait a minute, you know, I mean, that's really weird that they're doing all this stuff when they don't, I don't know if they've got. I mean, I wouldn't put any money down there if this is what they're saying, and then they're gonna hang on your money and you don't even know whether they're gonna, your septic system is gonna work.
So,
So what I don't understand about what he's saying, unless the condominium act has changed significantly since I was
Do you know,
very much involved in condominiums.
do you know Jeff Sturgeon?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you give him a call?
That's the realtor that contacted you.
go ahead.
So keep going, Cindy.
Jeff's
There, let her,
He's got dollar signs up.
let her, so I understand, go ahead.
So condominium act, where you can accept deposits for a reservation. I mean, right now, they'd have to be totally refundable by the act because you don't have.
You don't have
anything
any,
concrete, but you still, even to accept a deposit, you have to have a disclosure, you have to, there are a lot of documents that are required. People have to be able to have an understanding of what they're committing to. Doesn't mean it's gotta be built, doesn't mean it has to be done. But the legal documentation and disclosures have to be done, and you have to be able to see the proposed deed. And it's like a reservation agreement, if you will. And so I'm not quite understanding how, I mean, if it's as simple as you're stating it is, they're violating the condominium act.
Well, Jeff was saying, for one thing, he said,
And by the way, the deposit has to be held by a disinterested third party, so we used a title company.
well, don't you have to have a title somewhere along the line?
Yeah,
Deed.
proposed, but the money has to be held by like a title company, an attorney, something like that, and it has to be disclosed for them.
None of this information is available. And-
well, yeah, see, but, hey, we're out, just so you know. The township is out of that, we're not,
No, I'm just.
yeah, I'm just saying, so it's up to you if you wanna give money,
Oh, I get that,
yeah.
but I'm saying, you know, I don't know whether Bob had talked to anybody here about any increases in some of the actual, I mean, they tore the one building down, that's down now.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that was gonna fall down, so,
Right, and actually what he's saying and what he's proposing is in there, but they were asking, do you have any ideas? Are there any repairs that need to be done prior to doing this? And there was, yeah, the whole front wall, the outside wall is completely disappeared. There's no.
You're talking about the,
Blocking the waves
On the
coming in.
dock.
you're talking about the seawall?
No, the skirt boards on the dock are half of those are missing.
It is a seawall, more than half of them. I would say almost all of them, because the waves are coming, I'm on the inside slip. And my boat is rocking.
I'm glad I don't own that boat.
Yeah, I looked at the master deed, I've got it, I'll look at it again tonight, he could have the docks as a, proposed to be built in these from years ago. It's separate from any special use permit, but he could have that, the original
Sure.
master deed.
Mhm.
I just don't.
And that's what
remember.
I asked the girls to look,
I can
figure out,
tell you
can you
that
do this?
quickly.
Okay,
And then you have to have an escrow account set up.
all that,
Yeah.
Quick
Yeah.
comment.
go ahead.
I mean, I agree 100% with everything Ed's saying. I mean, this is like gonna explode, be a big mess. It's been a while. I mean, it was September 2023 when the amendments of whatever they were called came up. That's like the last time I read through this, but I mean, I don't recollect in that special use permit condominiumizing
Docks.
all this, expiration, according to our zoning. If working started within a year, the permits are expired. So when you had a proposal, it made no sense to me, but to excavate, put a basement under the hotel.
Raise them.
Well,
Put a new foundation, yeah.
Which is still.
whatever, but I said it hasn't started in 365 days. So my understanding technically, that's expired. But it seems to me, I mean, I've raised the concern about the offering of the, two doll houses, tear them down, build another one. I mean, we know that was. So that's just now the tip of the iceberg here.
Yeah, it was actually the first planning commission meeting that I ever went to, after I was appointed, the cottages were supposed to be on that, and after Tom Greer reviewed some things, he withdrew, Bob withdrew coming to the planning commission,
Right.
and there's not been anything else.
Well, they weren't, I mean, I don't know what his thinking was, but they weren't approvable because there was no wastewater available for them as condos. So, I mean, right now, my understanding, there's like a kind of a holding tank that serves two of them at a time and they get pumped out during the summer, which, I mean, that's grandfathered. Seems like it's working.
I've offered to Dave Wallace on a couple different occasions that I'd be happy to help him.
Well, Dave, he gave you his assurance that he was gonna deal with that.
Yeah, that's what he said at the last meeting.
He just had his knee done and he's got.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just, I'm gonna keep bringing it up. and-
No, you can, that's fine. Not like I haven't
It
forgotten
needs
about it.
attention.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a holding tank there, and there's a couple other holding tanks there that the road commission, the health department will tell you they don't allow them.
They don't allow them for new construction unless, there's an affidavit that a sewer's being constructed. The other condition where they allow them is, for a short period of time, if the ground is frozen or there's some reason you can't put in your septic drain field, you can do it. But otherwise, they're
So
forbidden.
building new.
Yeah, but that statement you just said isn't what they do, just so you know. Cause
They've
they,
allowed some
Oh,
new
sure.
ones
oh yeah.
to replace existing ones?
I don't know if there was an existing one to begin with.
Existing pump?
I don't think there was a septic field. Well, there might have been a barrel in the ground.
Well, there you go. Yeah. New, bigger, better. New, bigger, that would work. I mean, that's
Big barrel.
A larger barrel.
So a guy in Lake
Double wall
Michigan
barrel.
built, I don't know, 10 years ago. And they wouldn't approve for a septic because it's right on Lake Michigan, but they gave him a holding tank. And right in the rules, it said not allowed, but they did, so
But I don't know what the procedure is for a variance.
I don't know if you call it variance or just, they gave him a permit. They gave him a variance. Anyways, that's a separate issue, so. Roads, okay, roads, you were at the road commission meeting today?
I went to the road commission meeting today.
Okay, so we talked about maybe alternate, so not one of us went to, I know Cindy volunteered to go, but she's not gonna do it all the time, and that's
I
not
said
right.
there were 4 I couldn't go to just because of my schedule. Matt took care of the first one.
Okay, so what's the other dates?
April 9th, September 18th, and October 8th. Otherwise, I'm happy to go to the rest of them.
Really? Okay, 4/9 again?
April 9th,
I can probably do the
September
9th.
18th, and October 8th. And today, which Matt.
Yeah, and I can go to April 9th.
I can't do April, I could do September, October, so.
It's at 10 o'clock. And I brought
Is it 10 or 9?
it was at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I brought the agenda.
Does the previous road commission manager would give a written report at every meeting or almost every meeting?
Does Brad do that?
Brad doing that?
I don't think so. Just making one.
The only thing that was available, well, the other thing is they had to go into a closed session, so everyone had to leave. And I didn't wait for them to go back into open session.
Didn't they just go to another room?
No, they made everybody leave.
I was there.
No, we had to leave. You had to leave too, yeah.
Well, we could do that here, but I've just never done that. I mean, it's easier to move the board out back than tell everyone in the audience
That's
to
what the
leave.
city did too. We would go to a
Well,
different.
they've got the room right next.
They got another room right next
That's
door.
what it's for.
Okay, anyway, so what was that
It's
about?
nice if they do.
I think it was something about, evaluations. Their
Oh, employee evaluation.
performance evaluation, they went to closed
They
session.
wanted us out before they did that.
Yeah.
We knew we don't go, but now that's open meeting stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I would say,
was it a short meeting?
Yeah.
hour or so.
Oh, that's short.
Hour and a half. I just had a couple items from it just to bring to this meeting. One was to thank the road commission guys for the great plow job they're doing in the winter that's been, apparently this is more snowfall than we've had in decades or
Why do we have
something.
an ambulance here?
Decades.
Since 2014, but that's.
Well, that's what they were saying at the meeting.
Some issues, 200 and some inches when I was mayor. I remember that.
There's
And then they had
a-
a couple of guys that are out hurt. And then there was an interesting discussion, which we're talking about all these odd regulations and with the Eagle
Oh,
and
yeah.
different things. They're working, there's a portion of a road near the river where the Mississauga rattlesnake is like breeding grounds or something. And so it's like 1,000 feet or something, and they have to fix the shoulder of the road to preserve the road and the ground, and everything. They have to work on it. There's 2 options because of the snake habitat. One is you purchase a snake, like a silt fence, which is $50,000. That's the fence, then you have to put it up, or you send somebody to training to know what the snake looks like and to shoot away from the work.
They got a special tool.
Yes, they got, yeah, so they're gonna train somebody, and for the 3 or 4 days that they're gonna be there working.
Come on, really?
I wrote it down and I put a star by it because I couldn't believe it. They thought it sounded fake, but it's real.
Doge looking at this?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
This needs to be done.
I kinda wanted to volunteer to be the snake guy.
That's the rattlesnake, a poisonous rattlesnake?
Yeah.
But it's not worried about the guys getting.
No,
bit
I
by
gathered
the
that, that's the least of your worries.
snake.
You don't care about the guys.
The snake could be resting.
What if you wore long or high leather boots and just sent the guys in there to work?
They're afraid they're gonna run a snake over.
They don't want them to run a snake over
Just 'cause
or
it's
upset a snake.
Like you
So
said, snakes have more rights than.
Whoever found out there were snakes there to begin with? Okay,
So-
never mind, move on.
A guy that's gonna be there, trained and manning the post.
I'm sure he
the whole
is.
time.
For what is that, a couple $1,000?
Yeah, it's less than 50,000. So that's my road commission report.
I learned something new tonight.
I know.
Oh my God, okay, assessor and board review dates are set. Well, they'll be in the notices, it's March,
Do we want this?
and I think it's 12th and 13th here, but
Should I
it'll be in
give
the
this-
notice. What?
I can give this to the clerk, the minutes from the meeting.
No, you can keep it.
You can keep it. I'm sorry,
I
Dan.
thought these, you said border, I thought that one of the dates got moved.
We did, I have it, I just don't have it in front of me, I will get it posted, I think it's on the website, isn't it, maybe? Or did Molly not give it to us?
I haven't put anything on it.
I'll make sure, I'll get it from her tomorrow. I'll get it from her tomorrow and post it on there, or have somebody post it. Assessment notices will probably go out. I think they're printed and stamped, so they'll probably be going out hopefully by Monday. Everyone should be happy, I'm assuming.
You're going on vacation Monday.
I wish I was, but no, I'm not going to. And the other stuff will be posted on the website.
That's not on.
No, so we'll get it out there. There's still an increase and taxable value went up 3.1, something like that, lower than last year's, so. But sales are still terrible, so, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Sales are still very high for what everything is selling for. If you look, as an example, down, not that it's gonna sell for that, but the two stone houses down here are listed for
I think you said 1.3, didn't you?
1.3 million.
I don't
I mean-
remember if that's what you said, but it sounds like.
I mean,
Selling off.
you're selling? You might as well, are you a wetland?
That's not, hey, that's not wetland
No.
according to some people.
I'm just asking. Invasive
You
species,
say.
invasive species.
Well, there's nothing, I mean,
Yeah.
Make a motion, we pay the bill.
Well, Bob made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll support.
Thank you, Ed. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Public comment. Libby, you still there?
But no public comment.
What?
What?
Well,
No, what?
except
That's,
since Bob asked, I will be,
oh,
make a
Bob.
public comment. Thank you, Bob, for your service.
Oh, there you go, Bob. You got attaboy.
I appreciate it, and nobody knows what you do and how much you've done for this community. And I am on public record thanking you, but I also think what you didn't read is it's a life sentence. Goodbye.
Thanks, Libby. I guess, is anyone else on the owl that has a public comment? Is there anyone?
Michelle, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. You guys, public comment.
I have been heard, thank you.
Okay, good, done. Okay, ADJ. Thank you, Ed.
so, snow.